Like he 2 blocks, you know what I'm saying? 2 blocks
No
down
lies.
from the street I grew up on. So like that gave me motivation. It was like, nah, like you doing it. Like this happens. Like you just gotta find it.
You gotta find it. You gotta, and when you find it, you can't deny it.
Yeah.
When you find it, you gotta lean into it, no matter how uncomfortable
Yeah.
it is, because there will be people coming to make it uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. I didn't get the messages about how impactful it was until I beat the allegations. And I say the allegations like the folks like, nah, go get a 9 to 5 again.
Yeah.
Nah, yo, this ain't worth it. What you really doing? Yo, you working too hard at this.
Yeah. Literally.
Somebody said you on my timeline too much. Somebody in it to be on the other side of you on my timeline too much. And here, yo, I'm grateful how consistent you were with it. I'm grateful
Right.
for seeing you every morning at this time. Some of these days I needed that message. Messages I'm getting.
And that be another thing too, right? Because you never know who watching or who like, and then like the time somebody watching something like that, like I could be at work and come across, you know what I'm saying? You pop up on my timeline and you talking about something in the space and world I want to be in, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that take me out of this job where I'm like, I can't wait to clock out. And then I'm like, all right, this gives me life right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what people don't think about either.
The power of life and death are in the time, and people overlook what that means. When I say that, I recognize it as a teacher. When I saw the energy shift after certain words, I mean, you'll go and I'll say this because this is a little extra, but when you curse in front of children, instantly, oh,
yeah, they look like they shot, like,
wait, oh goodness, like y'all heard y'all say that, y'all done seen the dog, so you had a moment, so like, what? But then it's, oh, that's what that is. So when you step in a room, you say, "Good morning, children. I'm grateful for all of y'all." Somebody gonna say, "Ugh." But you got to recognize that is coming from a lot of trauma before they enter the space that you're sitting in them with. So it's like, okay, he woke up on the wrong side of the bed. He was up till 4 on Fortnite. Like some of my students admitted they were up till 4 on Fortnite. Like
they gonna play that Fortnite.
Yo, they not gonna cut cards with it. He getting busy with that. Mom's just like, get down here. So his shirt wrinkled. It looked like he unballed it, like it was balled up in the corner. He unballed it, do it on. So that's what is. It's not personal.
Right.
And when I recognize that, even like coming back around full circle to the conversations I had about the podcast and how I had to stand on, I am a guy from a place. I am doing this. This is what you're going to see every morning, even if you don't. I had to stand on it in a way that was uncomfortable. And I had to recognize people's resentment to it was not personal. The same way I was sending people wallow clips. Like, yo, this made me feel good. Check this. Yeah. What's he out there in the rain for?
And that's the thing. I had this thought earlier. I hope I can like piece it together. But like something I noticed is like when people, and I noticed it from like watching like basketball clips, right? Like you'll see like somebody might post a clip of LeBron doing something and they be like, oh, well, he couldn't hit the free throws after that or something like it. It's easy for people to like point out the flaws, like that be the part, because the flaws be the things that they can represent with, where it make them feel comfortable. So it's like when somebody see LeBron miss free throws, they know I miss free throws, so he ain't that good. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. They gotta point out the flaws so they can feel comfortable. So like that's like with anything you going for. When somebody sit and say, "Oh, you posting too much," it's because they don't feel comfortable doing that. You know what I'm saying? And they gotta say that because it make it feel like, all right, he ain't doing too much. You know what I'm saying? Make them feel comfortable, like
that ain't that hard.
Yeah,
that ain't that difficult. How you he just having conversations in the car.
Exactly.
I'll laugh because I saw like I was like 4 weeks in and somebody had sent me a clip of somebody doing a conversation in the car, but they didn't have no mic set up. The audio was poor and it was these different things. I immediately noticed because I do it.
Right.
So it was like every hurdle they ran into were ones, like everything that was wrong with it was a hurdle that I ran into and something I was intentional about being effective at. The thing I laugh even harder at is the people who haven't called me in the spaces they've already created. Because they should know me, and I've never been this person with a wall up, but the wall has now been created because it's like, why would you not?
Exactly.
So now it's this thing of like, you play the enemy, I'll let you be it for as long as you want to be, but this is bigger than me. It's something I will never stop saying. If you eat, I eat, because we from the same city. And my kids are going to benefit from the poems you write. My kids are going to benefit from Quis The Vndl being the most powerful rapper, female rapper, dancer, whatever she intends to be. If everybody wins, we all win.
And that's why I think like it's very important to like I try to like support as much as the support I want to receive, I try to give that. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to these events that it does nothing for me, but does everything for whoever. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when like D-Walking got like book readings, you know, I'm popping up. Or if it's rap shows, I want to go see all the rappers, you know what I'm saying? Because the same way I want somebody there for me, I want to be able to do that. And even if I don't see it instantly, even if it ain't the same person that's giving me that, still it's just setting the standard. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get enjoyment out of it too, because like you said, like when I see somebody win, I feel like that's a win for the city, because more eyes get on the city. Nobody is doing all the work themselves. Nobody is bringing all the attention here. Like, it's people that open doors for people that, and you don't even realize, like, and you sitting back, you mad at this person because you like, oh, they getting all this attention, but in reality, they opening doors, so it's easier for you if you just sit back and do what you need to do and stop looking over there, and you'll realize, like,
me too. Yeah. Ooh. And now I want to do two things. I started like this. I am a guy from a place, CharmCityBipper, Quis The Vndl. Marquis is the name my mama gave me. I'm here with an intelligent poet, creative, on the scene in my city. He has a book out. Can't Let It Hurt Me.
Couldn't let you tell it.
Couldn't let you tell it? Why do I feel like that? Couldn't let you tell it. And I say the title wrong. And I fix
it's all good.
To say it right. Couldn't let you tell it. I've read a couple of the first ones. I read the one about not feeling seen by Pops. The relationship with Pops, the relationship with Mom. And I've been reading a lot of different books as of late because I'm getting back into like having time to sit down.
Yeah.
But I want to give you flowers for your approach, for your patience and humility, because this is a thing that everybody isn't so understanding of. So some people come to me like, I asked you for an interview, you dodging me. I invited you to an event, you didn't show up. It's like the events that I do make it to, sometimes is on the skin of my teeth. Sometimes it's already orchestrated. It flows with my day.
Right.
So sometimes it's funny when I'm scheduling these things, or hey, I'll do an interview with you, because I don't even know what it flows like. To give fuller context, we are leaving the Earn Your Leisure
that's the best part.
Right? So that's
this happened.
That's the full circle part of it. So that's when I say thank you to God. Like, I don't say thank you God just to be cute, man. Right? I say thank you God because I've seen dumb
running into each other everywhere.
Everywhere. It was a couple times before Afram.
Yeah.
And then there's probably been times before that where I didn't know who you was, but we was in the same room.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like I think however we started connecting or whatever, and I ended up following your page, and then it's like since then I just started running into you. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing you different places and just laying groundwork. Like, hey, we gonna get up, and it happened.
And look, I be laughing because I mentioned ego a lot, and the ego of me telling somebody I'm gonna do something and falling short of it can get in the way. Like, I saw you, and I was like, is that really done? Like, I don't want to walk over on nobody, and that don't be him.
Yeah, I'll be the same way.
So I was like, let me just go see. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm back. So we end up sitting next to each other. And like I said, I'm grateful for how full circle it is. Even like, I've been seeing Jay Hill more. People like reach out to Jay Hill, and then I end up at the podcast event where
that's the energy, man. That's how
that's the blessings, man.
Like I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me. Like on my journey, like just being an artist. When I started to like want to be around these people that I felt like, you know, I needed to learn from. Like, that was my biggest thing. Like, I wanted to be in a room with people I could learn from. Like, I didn't want to just sit and watch their social medias. I wanted to interact with them, talk to them, soak up as much knowledge. And like, even if nothing came from it but a handshake,
it's cool. Is $1 million sometimes.
Yeah. Because to me, sometimes like that's just a part of like giving back. You know what I'm saying? Like just to be able to say like, look, you inspired me. You know what I'm saying? Just thank you. Be able to do that. Now, if anything else come out of it, like we was talking about, that's extra. You know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful for everything, but that's like uh how a lot of my relationships were like are not were but are in this artistic space that I'm in, like a lot of it came from me just wanting to give appreciation to somebody that taught me something from afar or from something they did, and then it actually grown into a relationship where now I'm able to contact these people and they can help me, you know what I'm saying, with these things. And it's
Absolutely.
amazing,
I'm
man.
laughing in my head at the parallels between building relationships and artistry. You be sitting down and you sit back and appreciate a moment, and your appreciation for the moment allows
Yeah,
you to synthesize it into something different than what you could have ever expected.
yeah,
Like you can
exactly.
sit down and reflect on your life and be like, this loss hurt me in this way, and this is how it's going to show up in this specific poem. like, like in this moment, I gotta unpack it in a way where it's like I'm not gonna let it just fester in my head.
Yeah,
I
gotta
want to
let it
find a
out.
way, cause even to curate the words, like people, and I won't say people, but I didn't always sit with how um certain things aren't said. It's
Yeah,
what's not said. Because it's so much that can be said when we write these poems. It's so many people you can cut down. It's so many secrets you can reveal
yeah,
that you can leave. I'm not going.
yeah.
That ain't
Word,
even relevant.
right, but
Mm-mm.
words are powerful. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And then even sometimes, silence is just as powerful. But
Mm.
I think it's the power of just knowing how to be able to tell stories and be able to kind of speak to other people through them. Because I'm gonna give you this experience I went through, tell you how I felt, and I want to kind of try to, you know what I mean, just have something there so somebody else can relate to it and find a solution or have a better solution, or to know like, okay, this person went through this too. I'm not alone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm
I
never
think
alone.
that's the like one of the biggest jobs of a writer is like, I don't want the reader just to read and be like, oh, he's an amazing writer. I want the reader to read and be like, you know, he's here with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not on this journey alone. Like, I can connect with these things he's saying, and it helped them improve their life. Because to me, at the end of the day, that's bigger than money and everything. Like just being able to help people.
And recognizing your artistry is a form of service. I
Yeah,
was saying to somebody, like, a lot of times when I started making music, it was to heal myself. It was to give another voice to what was going on in my head, because a lot of the perspective was stuck on what wasn't there, who hurt me, how I wasn't enough. Because eventually the voice that's barking at everybody else starts to bark at
yeah, true.
you.
Yeah,
So it was just this constant journey for me. And I got to a point where I was like, well, what's the purpose of this song? Like I did say, I'm having money, I'm having women. I ain't really had the money. I was talking about it's definitely on somebody's pay
a,
stub.
a lot of a lot of rappers don't.
I ain't know what it is. But to just be talking to this dream is what I say. Talking to this dream that didn't include the mother that raised me. Talking to this dream that didn't include the brother and sister that look up to me. That didn't include the little cousins. Talking into this dream that was so false to what
Right.
my true life was. And I was like, it's been constant progression because I still make whatever at times. But I'm saying that to say I got to a point where I was like, I can write this to shift somebody's day.
Yeah.
I could say thank you for the words you didn't know I needed, for speaking on what everyone was seeing, and people connect to that.
Yeah.
Like I have that power. Bless the give it to
Yeah.
bless
Bless.
the world. Like
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Cause like even with me, like how you say,
Mm.
like just include, like you wasn't including those things. Like when it came to me and making my music, like I always was like, cause I had a cousin that used to rap, and I'm just
Mm.
and like this was back when I was younger, and this was like, I mean, trap rap still popular, but this is like
Mm.
that Jeezy era, like back then, and
Yeah.
like his music kind of sounded like that, and
Mm.
it was like not to say he wasn't living what he was rapping, but it's like it's weird you at Thanksgiving and I listen to the song and it's like now you got to be this regular person. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that when it came to me and my music, I never wanted to have to switch. I wanted to be like I could sit at Thanksgiving and you can play exactly whatever and I'm still here regular. I don't have to. There's no, I'm not killing nobody. I'm not shooting nothing up. I'm not at the strip club. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Yes.
not a knock to anybody that do it, but when it just came to me, you know, I just wanted to be authentically me. Like I wanted to be able to rap and then sit down and do whatever I want to do and it don't look awkward. I don't look crazy because I'm talking about all these things I care about, these things I want to do, and I'm actually doing those things. Like I didn't want my family to have to look at me different and like, nah.
I speak a lot on integrity,
Yeah.
and it goes forgotten that people should have similar stories about you. The story that we share is becoming a recurring thing that I'm grateful for because it's funny. It gives me a joy in this process because it's like that's the journey a lot of brothers and sisters got on that stage to speak about and trust in the process. Like we are on a journey, and when we acknowledge the journey we're on, that's truly the destination. I was trying to get to my journey, but I didn't know that like, oh, I'm in it now.
Right.
Like is that why am I rapping about strippers and I don't go to the strip club? I know it's in the South, supposedly.
Yeah.
But does it sell if I'm not that guy?
Yeah, because it's like it's easy to get caught up in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because then you start thinking like, oh, this is what people want to hear and things like that. Like, but then me, I'm like, I want to say things that I don't hear people say. You know what I'm saying? I always tell myself like, that's when I'll stop rapping. When I hear the rapper that's rapping what I'm rapping, like when he's spreading the message that I feel like need to be spread, it's like, all right, my job done. He got it. And I still haven't had that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when like, and it's also being able to stay true to yourself when the other route look kind of easier. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been so many times where people be like, "Oh, you sound too positive or something." I'm like, "Well, what's too positive?" Right?
What's too positive?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I be wanting to know.
I mean, I'm from Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way everybody you look anywhere you read about Baltimore is just all this negativity. It's like, how am I too positive? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't we need positivity? You know what I'm saying? And it's not saying that everybody got to do that, or if you rapping something different is wrong. No, but it's just being true to yourself. Like if that's what I'm blessed with, and I'm able to speak to that, then I want to do that because I feel that void. And everybody else, you can still get what you like because everybody else still doing that. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But let me do my job. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my job.
I call it street adjacent. Street adjacent to me is a concept of that a lot of us share that we don't get to speak on. Right. People would think I'm from the county. People be putting a girl asked me, "You from Brooklyn?" I was like, "I know I'm up here, but I'm from Baltimore for real." Like, I maybe the accent may be going a little distance. My twos might not be hitting like they used to, shorty. For real. But it's this moment I laugh at because I've had people in my life who came from other cities, like literally came from another city in 5th grade, put that put it on, it wasn't in them, was acting like my cousin from around the way, and then telling me how I'm supposed to. And I'm like, yo, you don't even know my cousin will bust your head, like in 3 different ways, like for playing. Yeah. And it's like, it's this weird energy where I'm like, people are telling me I'm too positive. I'm like, if you saw the people I lost to be here.
You saw what I seen.
If you saw what I seen, and I didn't even see it all. Like I know it's people who seen worse than what I saw. So when I sit with it, I'm like, okay, you got it. Blessings.
Like literally, like I get that from people too. Like somebody might think like I had somebody that said before, like they thought, "Are you from the county or something?" Like, no,
not even that much.
But it's like from what I seen, it's like, you know what I mean? I seen it and realized I didn't have to be that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like one of my like best like childhood friends growing up, something I remember he told me. He was like, "Yo, you be in your own world. Like you don't gotta have, you know what I mean, all the shoes, all the girls, blah blah. Blah. You really like it don't matter. Like you see all this and you just do you. And it's like I have to because I seen it and it's like." Hey, yo, I just know it's not right. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I don't want to contribute to it. You know what I'm saying? I want to find my way to. All right, let me make this better because it's a kid like me growing up in the same neighborhood,
Absolutely.
going through it. And you know what I'm saying? I want to be the voice for that child, and I also want to be the voice for the child that's actually involved in these things to change things around. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be. It's no leaving one side out. I don't
Absolutely.
believe in it's good and bad and it's nah. It's just is what somebody is exposed to. You
It's
know what I'm saying?
untold
Like
stories.
yeah,
Is voices that didn't get uplifted high enough. Is
yeah.
I was laughing because I interviewed Bruce Daddy, a
Okay,
comedian in the
yeah.
city. So he posted something today like which one should we be talking about more, South Central or was it South Central? That's the one with OG Bobby Johnson,
Mm,
and fresh, and
okay.
it's like what story should we tell the youth? And I was laughing because I remember South Central more than Fresh. I know Fresh is like young drug dealer. He trying to put on for his sister,
Yeah.
all that vibe. But South Central, even though it was produced kind of wild, like the quality of some moments. It's a video where brother pointing out the moments in South Central. That's like what? It was heavy to sit with the story. A man who joins a gang at its inception goes to prison, and while he's in prison, he follows the path to Islam or enlightenment and finds himself and recognizes what he was doing was foolish. While he's in jail, his son's outside stealing radios, like outside putting on for the gang that he started. So his
Exactly.
son
Yeah.
is living out here in the world, following his father's footsteps, trying to prove himself. He gets shot in the back by somebody in one of the attempts to steal the radio.
Yeah. And you see like I think the beauty of that is really realizing like um when it comes to life, right? Like that's why I hate like when they do the whole cancel culture thing, right? Because it's like you can change, you can still learn.
The
It's
change?
no stopping point.
The change?
Like
Oh, the
it is no
change.
stopping point. Like so it'd be crazy to
Ooh.
me when people feel like we supposed to give up on these kids or give
Nobody
up
gave
on
up on
anybody.
you.
Yeah, it's
That'd
like
be the
it's
part.
life. You know what I'm saying? What they exposed to. They may not be exposed to, you know what I'm saying, like a better path, a better way of life right now.
Absolutely.
And it's okay because that don't mean life stopped for them right now. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that need to be put in place is uh you know, is for kids to have that access. You know what I'm saying? To know that they have it. I think that's because that's one of the biggest things with me. Like when I go back to saying, like when I wanted to be a writer and I didn't know it was writers in my city, like literally writers
Like
that live down the street from me. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking I'm weird, but it's like I didn't have the knowledge to know that because I'm battling all these things and thinking like, oh, is what I'm doing right or is am I corny or whatever?
no.
But then I'm realizing it, and they not just you know what I'm saying. They successful, so it's like
whole careers,
yeah.
whole grants and
So
programs they shop into to youth and all. I'm like, what?
yeah,
That's what's
it's
behind the
like
scenes.
so then I'm realizing like, yo, you're on the right path. Like, and sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, they need to be able to just see things, see that people in that city doing it. Like, that's why I like to promote, like, or promote and support, like, different people in the city because it's like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? The person, the kid watching me or whatever may not want to be a writer, but look, I can introduce you to Devin Allen.
That's
You know
the
what I'm
part
saying? Like
with the camera.
it's like I could, you know what I mean, introduce you to somebody that's doing something
You
that
got a
you know what I'm
Tevin
saying?
Towns, you got
Yeah.
Juba Productions, you got
Cause
Bird
like
House Studio. Like
one thing I realized once I learned it is that we don't have to outsource for a lot of these things. Like when we look and see like all these successful people, we don't have to outsource. It's here.
it's right here. Like it's parts,
it's here.
it's things here where I'm like, yo, that's here. How
Yeah.
you playing? That ain't here. It's here. Oh, we
Yeah,
got
man.
you got a whole production studio off of Urban Over East. Oh, you got a whole vegan ice cream shop.
Exactly.
And like y'all are going to festivals around the country.
And
They're inviting
it's
you to
here.
Black Swan. Like we speaking on Black Swan. He's like, yeah, we popped in here so much that we had to tell certain people they
That
couldn't
it couldn't
come.
come.
And these are people that you would want there. You're like, we overbooked, respectfully. So it's amazing when I sit with like that moment I had where I was like, it's really not about you as much as it feels like it is. And you've been in spaces with people that you halfway congratulating, because a full congratulations would have been to step in to find ways to work with them,
Right.
to give somebody else them more. So I was like, I'm not about to benefit from Aquila Divine being an artist in that way. But there's definitely a young girl that goes to my school right now that needs to see what she does and see that reference in real time, so that little idea of her being a ballerina, that little idea of her being a poet, and maybe even something that's not even aligned. Like people have said I wanted to be a scientist because of Malcolm X's story. I wanted to be like, it sounds wild, but like, you don't know where somebody's starting from. Right. So their starting point could tell them they're nothing. So to see any reference now gives you, my mind can open up.
Like it's like representation.
The representation.
Like you see, if he can do that, then I can do this. Like my what I'm thinking isn't so far fetched. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, like, and it's not cutting somebody else down in the process.
Oh, that's the biggest thing. Like it is room for everybody. Like if more people understood that, the world would be a better place. Like it's space for everybody. But that comes from I think that's a big effect now of like social media and just looking at other people instead of focusing on what you building. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of looking like, well, why they got that and I don't have this.
Yes.
Like everything ain't a comparison. Like I like if we appreciate more than we compare, it like things would be a lot better. Like I sit back and like once again I'm gonna go back to like basketball conversations. Like it's so crazy to sit and watch people debate over who the best basketball player all day instead of just realizing like, yo, they always great.
They were always great. You know what's funny? That's the conversation I tune out of. I'd be like, and it's interesting. I try not to bring those onto the podcast or like I'm intentional, just a little behind the scenes moment. I may have to etch this out, but just I sit with this a lot. We don't have to compare what was to what is.
Right.
In that way. And so much of our culture has been built around, but she ain't Beyonce. Oh, but Beyonce ain't Michael Jackson. But Michael Jackson ain't James Brown. Like,
because I think it comes from the thought of like I said, like comparison. Everybody got to think this is better. You got on Adidas, but my Nikes are better. Like, what in reality, it don't really matter.
We both got shoes. Right? Like, thank you.
It don't matter. Like, you can have your preference and your opinion, right? And that's what I think people don't understand. Like, y'all don't be arguing facts. You be arguing opinions. And it's okay to have your opinion.
Absolutely.
You can like who you like, wear what you want to wear, and it's cool. Because I can do the same thing and it's cool, but we don't have to sit and debate why mine is better than yours. It's cotton.
But it's funny because arguing is such a emotionally charging thing. So it's like sometimes that's people's way of getting their emotions out. And an energy transfer, if you're not familiar, is when somebody riles you up and leaves without thinking about what they just riled you up over. So you be sitting there fuming for weeks like, LeBron really that? How could he say, how could he say Jordan did this with LeBron though? But LeBron, yo. As you heat up your Pop-Tart. like make it as you clock into this job you hate. Like
stressed out. Then you gonna take that out in a whole nother way.
Be arguing with your girl. Why you wearing that? That like, whoa, like that don't got nothing to do with nothing.
Well, why you mad? Why you are not mad at that. Like.
We're not mad at that. It'd be like cross-contamination. Like leave that energy where it's supposed to be. We can have these debates. We can have these moments where it's like this is what I feel, and this is how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm not so attached to how I feel that I got to deny how you feel.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know how to agree to disagree.
Oh. I struggled with it too for a long time. Like, even with I want to circle back to that concept, because in community, there will be a time where you're helping people and you start to blame the people you helping, rather than recognizing that you are blessed to be able to show up for these people. So I've seen it. You're in the storm so long that you start to get mad at the people you're supposed to be serving. So it's like, this agree to disagree is like emotion will move you out to sea, and you'll get so far from land that you don't feel like you have anybody. You'll create a little island on your emotional raft. And it's like, it is not even real. It's not real that this person doesn't care about you or this person isn't making time for you. I literally have people that I feel an obligation to because I gave my word, but I owe nothing. There was no money exchange. There was no contract signed. It was literally just my word. And I feel so strong about my word. And at times, we hold people so heavily to their word that that person ain't. It's like, bro, like, life happens.
Yeah, and that be my thing. Like I'm big on time too, right? And if I trust a person word, I don't got like, I mean, when it came to us, I ain't had to keep hitting you up. You said, you know what I mean? It's just like, nah, like, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
And then it's like, I'm seeing you in spaces, so it's like, I know you doing something. I know you busy. Like, it's like,
I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that perspective, because there's been people who see me busy and say, but you ain't making time for me though. Like, how you just worried that to be about you, bro? I just was teaching kids the other day.
When you in it, it's like you understand that. Like, it's so many times where like I want to do everything in one day. It just don't happen.
Not even that, but I mean, because it's like, it's been days where you might formulate the plan or just start a formulation. Like, you might just start to think about it and struggle to write ideas about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's how mute it is. And the next day, you might get like half a paragraph, if that. And I'm saying, I'm using writing as a concept, but this is even writing your plan or writing your vision. One of my friends just wrote a draft to a business idea. I say it's beautiful, and I'm proud of you. But it was like this eureka moment for me, because it was so many points like, just write it. You don't write enough. Like, we had this forced relationship because she can handle that anger or that other side of me at times. It's not really anger in a detriment, but sometimes I'm so passionate that I don't pull back. As a family thing where I'm like, oh, that's why I'm so loud. But she wrote this plan where I'm like, I see it just off your words. And then you put pictures as template examples, and you got a business name that's Fly, and like, I want to see this all the way through, even if we're not together. Like, love. So it's those moments where I'm like, be grateful for the frustration.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Be grateful for the argument you had with the homie about the business you finna start. Shout out to the homies that I dubbed your business 3 years ago. I don't know, that ain't gonna work. And now it's a business that's fully viable, and I apologize. But it's also this recognition that the thing I'm doing is not because of 7 different hands or a bunch of different people. It was literally like, I'm tired of talking to people about this vision. I'm about to break this mic out and talk to it, even if I look wild.
That's the one. Like, I never wanted to be like when I started like networking and making connections with people. I never wanted to be the person that every time you see me, I'm always working on something, but you never see the work.
Brother,
that was big for me, my mic now, because it was like I didn't want to like be this person that like, because after a while I just started to feel like, all right, you really not getting nothing from this person. You just hear, which is okay for some people, but for me it was like, nah, I don't want to make these relationships with these people, and I'm just, I'm still working on this, and then you see me again, I'm still working on it. Nah, because what did that give that person an opportunity to step in and help me? If they show me, if I can't even get it done on my own, what is that helping?
What can we do together? Right. When you've that lost and you don't even know, like, that's the beauty of awareness. and like a full assessment. Like I have conversations with myself that I could not have with another person.
Right.
And when I say that, it's things where I'm like, you bullshit. You bluffing. You bluffing. You doing a lot of jibber jabber. You saying you gonna do this, you didn't. Let's get to work. And sometimes I don't want people talking to me like that.
Yeah.
Respectfully. So it's like this balance of like finding time to make the relationship for somebody to be able to talk to you like that. But building that with yourself first, so you even recognize like what it feel like.
Yeah. And that come along with being honest with yourself too. Like that was like one of the biggest things with me. Like I'm honest with myself. Like I don't expect nothing extra or no awards or nothing that I don't feel like I deserve, right? It's being honest with myself. I think a lot of people sometimes they get in a space where they feel like, well, I did this and that, I deserve this. But when you look at it, it's like, but did you really put in all that work? Like I want what I deserve. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no handouts and I don't want to skip no steps.
Big facts.
So if whatever I gotta go through, I want to go through it. I want to work through it. I want to put the amount of work in. So when I receive those things, it's like, all right, I know what I did. I don't want to feel like I just wrote this book and then out of nowhere, like thinking it's supposed to be a New York Times bestseller or something like that. Like, no, it's not realistic. Right. I want to go through everything. I want to go through the hard parts. I want to learn. I want to figure stuff out, reroute. You know what I'm saying? Really put that work in. So when everything come to me, I know what it took.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, like, every moment. Yeah. And I laugh because that's the journey. Like I'm at this point where I've been reflecting so much about the moments where I was asking for this, where I was like, I don't even know if I'm making this an interview thing. My cousin, the first interview I did was with my cousin who's a film director, Dallas Hanson. He goes by Andy Spencer, but he does these awesome works, and he was doing the thing that I started out doing initially, where it's like you want family to acknowledge it, like family don't support. And DJ Quicksilver get up like, those you think won't. Yeah. Those you think won't will. And is that constant back and forth mentally for me is like release expectation, release desire for anything, because the desire is what's carrying me out to sea.
and it's a beauty in that. Like when you really like stop thinking about like who's supposed to be supporting you, the amount of people and the people that you see supporting you, you'll be shocked. Like it'll be people you never thought of. Like it'll be like, well, damn. Well, if I only thought it was gonna be y'all, yes, but then it's, you know what I'm saying? Like yes, it's a beauty in that, because you never know who watching. Like, and it's so many times where like now like I come across like people hit me up about my book, or they seen this, or they seen something I did, and it be people I may have not heard from years ago, or whatever. People I was not thinking about whenever I did what I did, and it just be beautiful, because it'd be like, I like to be able to show people, especially people that love and support me, like, you know what I'm saying, I didn't waste whatever you seen in me.
I kept growing. Yeah. I was saying that recently, like, I'm doing this for the people that believe in me as well. I'm not only doing this for the person that I intend to be, but I'm like, also like, oh, you got stake
all
in
my
this.
teachers thought I was gonna be something. I ain't one of them people that my teachers didn't think I was gonna be president.
I'm still going.
But yeah, it's like people like that in my life, like, you know what I'm saying, like, because I feel like that's rewarding. You know what I'm saying, especially when you play some type of part. You know what I'm saying. Cause that's what I want to feel, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to like my little cousins and stuff, and when they start doing whatever they doing, I want to be like, yeah, I was there, you know what I'm saying, like I'm glad, you know what I'm saying, I knew something was gonna come out of it, you know what I'm saying, like, and it's just that reward and feeling like you just doing something good with life, you know what I'm saying, like, and that's that's what I wanted to give to people, like everybody that's seen something in me or whatever, like can look and be like, okay, you doing something. Like I feel like that, like when it comes to certain things, and like, you know, people be thinking like money is the biggest reward, but I think is a life. Like I want to be able to like give people life. I feel like that gives somebody, even if it's just a moment, right? And they sitting back and like, wow, I knew, you know what I'm saying? But it's a feel good moment.
Yes.
Cause life's too short, man.
It's so short that
Like you need those moments.
it's so short, and I'm just constantly bringing up gratitude to remind myself and hopefully others, because it's also, we move so quick. I've moved so quick that I don't see the person with the sign like you got it, because I'm not thinking that's the face that's supposed to have that sign.
Exactly.
So it's like I get this text from somebody I've never met. Bro, I love what you're doing for youth. I'm a youth that's trying to figure it out. And I literally started asking people questions to speak to him at one point because of the message he sent me. Like, it was those moments where I'm like, I didn't even think of that. But I had to slow down, reflect. I started a blog to even start to reflect more. Just been in this constant space of like, it's been 6 months. I've had a podcast for 6 months.
It's crazy when you see how fast it start going, because then you start losing track of time.
People like, I was like, was it Friday? No, it's Wednesday. I was like, my Wednesdays feel like a Friday. That's different. Thank you, God. Because it was a moment where I'm sitting in a school building, counting the days. When I'm sitting in a school building like, hey, this ain't fair, this ain't that. And I took no accountability for my position in life. I was actively saying what I wouldn't do. I was limited on what I would. And I had to have that. That's why I said I had to have that real conversation with myself. I was like, I ain't finna do that. It's 5 o'clock. I just got off work. I'm kind of hungry and sleepy. I'm going home.
And those are the times where like you gotta push through.
Push through.
Because like what I started to realize that, well, ain't nothing gonna change, so I change it. Like everything.
Don't let that go over your head.
Like every day will be the same day if you let it. Every day will be working home if you let it.
If you let it. What was the movie? My mother loves it. Bill Murray, Groundhog's Day. Even though he's stuck in, he started to just I'm gonna deviate. I know it's not gonna be this, but I'm gonna deviate. And that literally becomes chasing your dream.
Even and if you're a person that struggle with it, just start with something small and just allow it to grow. But you'll start to see the power in that, like the power that you have to change your day. Like, but it's important because you only you have the power to do that. Like, it's not going. Nobody else is going to come through, rock your world, change your world. That don't happen. Like, you got to be able to do it. And then you'll start to put yourself in a position where you start to see things and you start to attract the things you want out of life. Like, that's how it happened with me. Like, and like when it comes to like my family and stuff, and like how I be with like my time, right? Like, cause it's times now where I'm not around as much as I used to be. You know what I'm saying? But I still gotta come around and do things. You know, I still do a lot for my grandmother and things like that. But then it'd be times where they don't really understand it. It'd be like, well, look, I mean, y'all know, like, I'm a writer. Like, these things don't just happen. Like, I'm like,
it's not
like, if I'm not around, it's because I need the time, like, to do these things and create these things. And I think that's a lot of people on the outside of what you're doing don't understand. They don't know how much time going to it. Some people may think you got talent and they can maybe take 10, 15 minutes for you to do it. They don't know the whole thing that go into it. And I think it's important to like I mean, to me, that's what I battle with now. Like, still trying to navigate that balance, like where I'm giving time to the thing I want to work on, at the same time still trying to be branding for my family. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I can't really. It'd be a tight rope.
It's such a tight rope because people met you one way, and they want you to be that way at times where you can't be that way, and that's unless they are used to change, it's not. So a lot of the people in our family are locked into who they gonna be and what it's
like, even when it came to me writing, doing music and everything, I used to like hoard it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like it was mine. I didn't want nobody to hear nothing, see nothing. So it's like, now where they start seeing stuff, they still, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the time that I put into it, they don't really see it because I had it for so long. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like my mom used to go to sleep. I was in the basement, like
Mm,
recording songs,
mm,
writing. I did a lot of like just YouTube, like Gil Scott Heron. I used to sit and just watch his
mm.
interviews for hours.
Revolution will not be televised.
Maya
Ooh.
Angelou, like I did Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. I
Mm,
used to sit and just soak up all of that. But it was like nobody knew I was doing that. You know what I'm saying? Not to say it was a wrong thing, anything like that, but just nobody knew, you know what I'm saying, what I was doing. So it's like now they start to see it. They still don't understand the time that that went into it.
absolutely.
But yeah,
Hmm.
but
It's hilarious that you put that you said it in that way because I had an interview with True Relations, Truth Alkaline Water. He spoke
that's one of the
on
dopest things
right
in the city.
truth. It's like yo, like, and it's that's why I laugh at how it's all going because it's like his win is our win, is your win. It's like when Baltimore known for water, like
Exactly.
Baltimore known
Like
for like that's wavy.
it's stuff,
Like
and let's go back to what we said. Like it's somebody for everything. Like we
everything.
doing, you don't have to
We literally
outsource.
got a water
Like
guy.
somebody is doing everything. Like we touching
Mm.
all bases.
It's a funny thing because it's built in triple black darkness. That
Hmm.
was what he was at. You and like I love the basement because that's what my first tape was
Yeah,
booming
that
out the
was
basement. It was just like I
the
was.
basement, man.
It's a
That's where you
mentality.
get built.
It's a mentality. Basement rap. Like
Yeah.
there is a mentality where it's like I'm coming from underground with this, and when I pop out of this darkness, you
Yeah.
gonna have to speak to me different because I heard how y'all was acting above. I heard how y'all was up there on the first floor.
And that's the thing, right? Like more times than not, the basement is usually like the less. You know what I mean? It's not active.
Not
You think of the
active.
house, it's not active. You have partying, everything going on upstairs. The basement, it's not a lot going on. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't no sense of time
Yeah.
because it might be dark. It might be dark down there. Oh, like just straight. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been working at this for how long? You look at the clock. Oh, it's
Right.
4 in the afternoon.
A
Like,
lot of times that's the least space somebody might spend in their house. They might wash clothes in the
mm,
basement. That's it. Come back upstairs. They in and out the basement. But the basement, that's
mm.
the key, man.
What was your process like getting to cut and let you tell it?
Um,
I said it right
well,
that time.
yeah, you did. And you're a supporter, so you messed it up on the first, but it's
Oh,
all good.
I laugh
It's all
because
love.
that's one of them little standards I be holding myself to in a weird. It's like those remnants of like I messed the name up the other day, but then when I got it the second time, it clicked in me like, how could you get that wrong? I needed to hear it the second time because I have a family member with the name, a part of the name. So I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't even think about. I haven't thought about her in years. So it was this big smile, and we both enjoyed that. Our grandfathers and name have the same name.
No,
Like it was
that's
just wild,
yeah.
like synchronicity. I was like, oh, so couldn't let you tell it. I love that title for a lot of reasons. Because part of this is I couldn't let nobody give my story
That
or say who I am.
that was it. That's what I wanted. The reader to walk away with
Mm,
because um I think it's important, and I think like it go back to what I was saying about the music is like when I feel like somebody giving that message, I have to give like word for word how I want to tell it or whatever, then I'll stop. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like my message is still important. You know what I'm saying? And I want everybody to know their message is important. And it don't have to be in the form of a book or whatever,
nah,
however you want to express yourself, but it's somebody that need the story you telling. It's somebody that's going to benefit from your story. Like they might not get it from mine, but I want everybody to understand like it's somebody in this world that's 4 or 5 years behind where you at right now. And if you take the time to write that story, they're gonna get to where you at faster. And I think
mm-hmm.
that's what life has to be about. It's not worrying about who's coming up next or whatever. It's literally thinking like, how can I help the people that's coming up after me? And also still being able to contribute to the people that was here before me. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? Like, so when it came to that title, I just really wanted people to understand the power of telling their own story. while I
Mhm.
told my story. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes. Oh.
because what helped me write it actually was COVID. Um, because I always wanted to write a book. I always had these poems, but COVID really set me down. Like, well, it set everybody down, but
Yeah, but you know what's funny though? I used to watch the gram. I used to watch people still active, and like I
Mhm.
would be talking to people like I'm trying to like, why are you still forcing it? And like it was a couple points where it was like a complete dead zone, and I saw people jump right back up, and I'm still watching that occurrence because it's like we rushing to nothing. I'm seeing people attach themselves to false pursuits again, and it was like I thought the message of COVID was this is what we take care of first. We take care of family. We find these values. And I got people, I got things that I've been hearing where I'm just like, this is interesting. And I had to check myself too. Because with this, I was just like on go. And it was like a
Man,
point where it was like, why?
it's a lot of times I gotta check myself.
Chickity check yourself for your
Yeah,
records.
you have to, especially in the time we live in now, where it's like your sense of perception can be thrown off so easy through social media. So it's like I always have to get back to reality. Like it don't happen
Yo.
like that. Don't look like that.
And the COVID timeline was nonlinear. Like it's things that happened during that period. I lost real family members. I lost celebrity family members. Kobe is like these moments where it's like, what? Nah, you playing. Like it was the Usher call. Too much. It was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
huh? Nah, nah.
That was, man. That was one of the probably craziest times ever. Um, like cause early in the early stages of COVID, I was working at John Hopkins. So I was actually like kind of seeing the effects of everything that was going on from inside of a hospital. And then on the outside, like the first people that caught COVID in my immediate family was my great grandmother, my grandmother, and my mother. All three. And this was early. Like this is when people are dying. So this is like every day I'm coming in the break room. I'm saying this we got this many cases, this many deaths, and I'm sitting there, and all three, like three most important women in my life, got it, and I'm just like minding a frenzy. But through the grace of God, everybody is doing fine. They all survived it and
Absolutely.
everything.
That's a blessing.
But yeah, like in real time though, like watching that on the screen and then realizing like they got it. You know what I'm saying? This is the the I don't want to say oldest because she'd kill me, but
Yeah,
my
age.
my wisest family member when it comes to my great grandmother that has it, and it's just like you know what I'm saying, like world kind of, I don't know what's gonna happen. But like I said, like they came out of it, and so even when I had it, it kind of made me feel like, all right, well, if they beat it, I can beat it.
Absolutely. I've laughed because at times I'm annoyingly optimistic. That's where the too positive had come from because I want to see the brighter side, even if it's not visible.
Yeah.
Like that's the faith for me. So it's like during COVID, it was like I lost some family members to violence.
I'm sorry to hear
at
that,
moments,
man.
and I'm my optimism is centered in the lessons I learned from the people that I lost, the memories I have with them. I don't let people's memories die. I don't like to sit in too much into the negativity. I think about um the weight of the time we shared in comparison to the time I shared with people that I've just been here. We just joked about that earlier where you like, I won't be that guy that keeps showing up like I got something. It's like I've known people who had something every time I saw them. It was constant progression, and then it was done. But I was like, oh, but you lived a lot of life. Like you lived more life than I've been living in this past 10 years.
Right.
In a 3-year stint. And it wasn't like it was negative life. It was the best. So it's like I'm always in that mindset of like, this in my estimate is a stop along the way. and when we transition to the next point, there's no telling what's on the other side because nobody here can truly tell us.
Yeah.
But when we transition to the next point, it's so much. I hope you did a lot with the part you were loaned.
Exactly.
Because I say this, I'm loaned this life. I don't have to be given a mindset, the know-how, and a hustle to do 60 interviews in 6 months. I don't have to.
That's true.
I wasn't guaranteed the opportunity to have the things that I have. So when I'm like, yo,
but that be my biggest piece when it comes to like appreciation, right? Because we never know our high, right? We never know what's that moment that's gonna be the biggest moment, right? Because we just can't see it. Like it's like with anything, you go on and then you realize like, oh, that was, you know what I'm saying? So me, like, I just try to appreciate every moment because I don't know if this was it. You know what I'm saying? Like so when it comes to anybody that like supported me or anybody that bought a book, anybody I sat and talked with, anybody that helped me with anything, like I cherish all of those moments because it could have been a hype. You know what I'm saying? Like like that could have been it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I intend to and I'm working on more books. But at the same time it's like, you know, what if it never happened? You know what I'm saying? I know I'm gonna put that work in or whatever, but life is life. You know what I'm saying? So this first book could be the, you know what I'm saying, could be the moment. But and I also got a poem in the book titled Cherish Everything, because I think that's really big because we don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's not good to play. It's not good to play with the unknown. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like I cherish everything, and I like when things happen in a way that in my mind, like, because I always say, like, for better or worse, no matter how you think something gonna play out, it's either gonna go better or it's gonna go worse. But it's never gonna go exactly how you think in your head. Like even when it come to, I mean, us doing this interview now, you know what I'm saying? In my mind, I probably would have thought like we would have sat, you know what I'm saying, set up a time, scheduled it, linked up. But how it actually happened, we had an event, end up running into each other, and hey, what you doing after this? You know what I'm saying? And that's even better because now we sitting, we having this conversation, and honestly, it feel like we've been friends forever. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of
and it's a genuine thing to build from here. Yeah. I'm laughing because I'm like, this is a great moment for me for a lot of reasons. This is start of second half, as I call it. Okay. You know, because shout out to Ron the Dawn, the game plan is what gave me the idea to even be like, yo, you bluffing. But it was just a book with everything that I learned along the way, but like in the order that I needed it to be in. So I laugh because it's like sometimes people are like, I didn't even give you enough. I'm like, you gave me everything, because I have so much going on at times where I'm like, oh, well, Maslow's hierarchy of needs says this, and then if my mindset is that, and his book was it was step-by-step guide from why do you want to do it? Who are you now? Why are you who you are? Who's in your circle? Why are they in your circle? These simple questions. I was like, oh, snap. I ain't asked these questions in a minute. Yeah,
and they real questions too. Like, because a lot of times you just go.
Just go.
Like, you don't sit and think like what's going on. And sometimes we got to make those tough decisions and revamp things, reroute things for the greater good. Even at a point where if people around you may not understand what you're doing, but you have to sit and have those moments because only you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody gonna want it more for you than yourself.
Yep.
So when it comes time to make all those tough decisions, sometimes you have to really understand what people's like, look, y'all gonna understand when y'all see it. Y'all not gonna get it right now. It's cool.
Show you about it, I can tell you.
Yeah.
My grandfather used to say, my grandfather had mad game. He used to be sitting quiet with his bottle and his Bible and his flannel. Like, he had a flannel shirt, had a Bible just tucked in one of the pockets, just watching. Sunglasses on, you ain't gonna see his eyes. He ain't gonna show you the eyes. He just had the Kangol on, just
Chilling.
East Baltimore legend. So he just posted up, but he'll throw his 100 million. I don't think it's 2 cents. He throws 100 million. You'll be upset, but it's like right on time. That's on you. So it's like you live long enough, life will show you. I can't keep telling you. I tell you till I'm blue in the face, but I don't got time for that. I got things I'm worried about.
Yeah.
You know,
My grandfather used to tell me. I used to always hate when he said it, but it was really real. He used to be like, "I'm not always gonna be here," right? And so when it came to like, you know what I mean, like not to say I relied on him for everything. My grandfather was like my best friend. You know what I'm saying? But at times, you know what I'm saying, he would be like, "Look, you have to understand this, because I ain't always gonna be here." I used to hate it because like that would be my last thought. Never
don't remind me of that.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to think about it. But it was real. You know what I'm saying? And I use that today. It's like I want to be able to be in a position where I'm helping people because I know I'm not going to be here one day.
It'll make you cherish everything.
Exactly. So when it comes to my book, my book is a part of. I'm not always gonna be here, so let me put these words together.
Big fact. So big fact.
Like, yeah, is a bigger bigger message behind everything.
I started to realize how many beautiful moments we don't capture. When I saw this,
I never captured.
I saw this.
I'm horrible with that.
My mother, she kept all of these picture books. So she used to do the scrapbooking. She put the pictures together, and I would look back through like, oh, that's a literal progression. Like it was pre-social media. Like sometimes we think social media is the only concept. Who's to say they can't delete all of our, like ban our account, whatever it be, right?
That's the thing people don't never think about.
We don't sit with that because we too in the now. Like it's some people sitting with like, oh, this don't mean nothing now. I'm like, yeah, this thing that has been long standing might not look valuable.
It's some people whose entire life will almost cease if the internet shut down.
Don't say that too loud.
For 5 hours. I'll give it 5 hours. It don't even have to be a day. If all the internet was, people would go crazy.
They don't know where the park's at. Like I got like 7 parks. I know the one they're gonna go to first. I'm gonna go to the other one. I'm gonna go to that park.
But that's a big thing too, because in my family, it was the same thing. Like we had all these photo albums and everything like that. We definitely need to get back to that. Like,
yo, that's beautiful.
Black culture, the photo album. And like you were saying, like just the memories and the beauty of it. Like my family, we had went through. This was recent last year. One of my cousins passed, and it was a big loss. Like everybody still to this day. And it's a lot of women in my family too. So it was like I take that in perspective too. So it was like I would find, I don't know how, I would just be in my grandmother's house or whatever, and just end up coming across pictures. And there was pictures I haven't seen. So I know they probably haven't seen it in years. Like we had the regular photo books, but then they just had pictures scattered throughout the house. And like I would just find them, and we got this family group message, and I would just start to take pictures of them and just start to drop them in the group message. Yeah. Just as a pick me up. And I would love to see like how they would respond to it, and like it would just make everybody kind of have, and they'd be like, just the power of that. And these, I'm telling you, I found pictures of myself that I never seen. Like, that's why and I'm like, it's crazy that this happens, after we go through that death, and now I'm finding all these pictures scattered around the house, and I don't even know what would make me just sit there and just start going through stuff. Like I'm in the basement finding 50, 40 pictures, and then I just sit in that group message and just post those pictures and just watch like everybody had this like good moment. You know what I'm saying?
The ultimate stillness. Death is the ultimate stillness. And when I reflect on the people I lost, it brought me to a moment of stillness. Like that was what this year has been for me. While I'm on the trajectory to do one of the coolest things I've got a chance to do, and it's giving me opportunities I didn't know how they would come about. I met people I didn't think I would meet. Like if I had to do it by my understanding, so lean out into thine own understanding, you know what, that's wrong. But if I had to do it by my understanding, I was supposed to never meet these people possibly, or become a musical artist, or become something specific in this way, in this clear-cut vision. And then I start a podcast where I interview people who do all the things I love to do. I get to interview writers. I get to interview chefs. I like to cook from time to time. I get to interview people who are running corporations, and I'm calling them corporations, and you may not believe it is, but that's on you. Like, every one of us is running a business.
That's true.
Also what the game plan gave me. I keep coming back to these different things I've come across.
Because like, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
It's not a cat. It's not a cat. I am the business. You're gonna see this Bipper logo until it's annoying. Because once it's annoying, you're gonna say, this dumb guy keep walking around with this B on his, like, that's what I need. Thank you.
That'd be the thing. That'd be the thing. Because then people don't understand, like, that's promotion too.
That's promotion.
Because when they start retweeting and stuff, I'm like, I don't like this.
I'm glad you don't.
It's still exposure.
And I told this to the kids. When somebody makes fun of the light that you are, it is not a reflection of the light that you are. It's a reflection of who they are as an individual. So if I'm my best self and it disrupts your spirit and it makes you feel uncomfortable with who you are,
that go back to what we were saying about
that for them.
The flaws. Like, flaws.
There you go.
The people, they quick to point out the flaws because they resonate with that.
Resonate with negativity.
When it comes to the free throw, when LeBron misses free throw, hey, look, he missed the free throw. They point out because that's what they do. So they ain't gonna acknowledge everything else going on. They just gonna point out the fact that, oh, you missed that free throw. Like,
I'll bring it down to my level. Oh, that dancing whack. Why he still doing a park high strut? That's weird. Tell it take off. Now everybody's trying to learn the step. Or they still playing like it ain't cool because they just a hater. But it's like, hating don't create nothing, and it really don't destroy nothing that's genuine. Because your hating is just pointing out that you lame. Oh, that person ain't on nothing like that, man. Anybody can get a microphone talking to a car. Do it then. Do it. Do the podcast stress then.
That's when
like, do it then. Do it.
That's when they realize it's something. That's when they sit back and be like, oh, well, yeah, it was, you know what I'm saying? Then they turn around. Then they try to turn around and be like, no, I always knew it was going to.
Oh, my always knew us. I knew you knew. It's so special to sit with it because it's like, this is something regardless of if it's something to you. And I need that to be for everybody. You are a writer, regardless of if you got a book out. You were a writer before you published it. And that's what I want artists to recognize. You don't gotta wait till you got something to tell people to be it.
That's what it come from. Because before the book, that was the you know what I'm saying, like the nights I spent, that was all the work. You know what I'm saying? When it came time to put the book together, I legit was putting together, like, majority of it was older works. So, like, you know what I'm saying, the collection that I wanted to piece together and make flow a certain way. But if I didn't think I was a writer before the book, you know what I'm saying? Like, the book would have never came, you know what I'm saying? And it's acknowledging it. It's funny because, like, even with you saying that, right? Like, I remember somebody told me Happy Father's Day one time, right? I'm like, I don't have no kids. And they was like, you don't got no kids, but I'm pretty sure you got younger people in your life that you're influenced to and stuff like that.
This year, and I was stuck. I was like,
but I had to realize it was like, oh, like, yeah, because I'm looking at it from the, you know what I'm saying, and go back to the same thing. Like, somebody may think like, oh, I'm not a writer because I don't have a book. No, if you picking that pen up,
you a writer. You a writer.
You picking that pen up, journaling, whatever, you are a writer. Like, you don't need the accolades and all of that stuff. Like, if you doing the work, that's what you are.
And one of the biggest blessings I got is from people with accolades who let me know the accolades, they're just the extra. People that got accolades that was like, oh, you got that though. You got the Grammy though. But look at that, 6 Grammys. He's like, no, that's not that deep, bro. That's actually not what I value in life. Is that moment with my grandmother where I showed her this song I was working on and she congratulated me.
Yeah, like that's what I was saying as far as like, well, it's just what you deserve. You know what I'm saying? That's how you look at it. Like, so to them, on the outside looking in, somebody might be like, oh, that's amazing. But to them, it's like, no, that's the work I put in.
That's what comes.
And if you put in that work, that's what will get you here. But at the same time, don't diminish yourself and say you're not that. You know what I'm saying? You are that.
Yes.
I'm like, I look at people like that as just examples of if I put in that amount of work, I can get there.
Yes.
Or I can get further. You know
Alex
what I'm saying?
Perez. Was that Alex Perez, Poppy Cuisine?
Yeah.
He said the whole part. Focus on your work, not your image, because eventually your work will match your image.
Yeah.
So like I was walking around dusty haircut at moments, but I could have a dusty haircut with the work I'm doing because I'm working. Like, oh you ain't like, I'm not thinking about this right now. And it don't take long to get this back right. What takes longer is to make up for work I didn't do. So I see a lot of people getting lost in like, I got to build an image.
Yeah.
You can build your image, but you ain't got no work to match the image. Nobody care about your image.
That's the thing. Like, some people worried about everything being picture perfect. Like, everything got to be top tier. Like, my work got to look like the work they doing. But it's like, no. You put in the work and you start doing everything will start to come together in ways you never thought. Like, when it came to, like, literally when it came to my book, right? Like, I knew it was people I wanted to work with when it came to my book, people I wanted to get advice from. Literally with my first book, every single person I wanted to work with, I worked with. I used to sit back and watch, like I said, like I'm a big fan of D Watkins, like, and Quis The Vndl.
Big shout out.
His designer, Marquis Hughley, she was designing their books, right? And I used to sit and wonder, I used to be like, when I make that book, like, I wasn't thinking the first book, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, when I get there one day, you know what I mean, she gonna design my book cover, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be able to sit with D Watkins and talk about this with my book. And literally with my first book, all of that happened for me. I ended up working with, and you spoke to Angel.
Yes, indeed.
I ended up working with her.
Silent Books
Book
Production.
Publishing.
Oh, yeah, Silent Books Publishing.
And I didn't even know that my kid was the designer. You know what I mean? For Silent Book Publishing.
Be like that.
I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even. So once I found out, I'm like, oh my, like, how did I end up here already? And then through the relationship I had already built with D Watkins, like I was saying, like, I didn't want to be somebody that just said I was working and working and working. Like, he was one of the people I told early on I was writing a book. And then when I finished it, I was able to come like, yo, I finished a book. And he was like, yo, just he like send me over the book, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna write a blurb for you. And it's something I didn't even ask for. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking like he about to be happy, you know what I'm saying? I said what I was gonna do and I did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just looking to get that out of that moment, you know what I'm saying? And the blurb came unexpectedly. And then even when it come to Quis, like, me and him sat on a FaceTime call, like, he let me ask him. I mean, I'm asking questions about everything, running them down about like book promotion and things of that nature. And just being able to have that, like I said, like, these are people that I always, you know what I mean, wanted to work with, and for it to happen all on that first book, like, that's why I feel like this book will always be super special to me. Like, cause this is like, you know, when it come to like albums, when they be like, the first album was the one the artist always wanted to make. Like, that's how I feel like with my first book. Like, and the crazy part was, I didn't even think, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm thinking like, oh, this will happen later down the line, but I got all of that on the first try. So that was just beautiful to me, because it was like, that was a great example of manifestation. Like, I manifested that.
Yes. And it's so powerful, because my big thing is believe the best outcome regardless of what life has shown you.
Oh yeah.
Because what life has shown you is not what your dream is anyway. Life has shown me so many things that don't align with what I'm doing, to the point where people are frustrated with some of the actions I made. But I'm like, yo, but if you really was paying full attention, like, it makes sense. I would have, like, I could explain it, but like, you had to be there. And if you're not there, you won't understand. It's like, it's funny. It's like when you find out somebody went to your high school. Right. You find out somebody from your neighborhood. You find out, oh, you know about that fish spot? Like, you had to be there to know it was that gum stain in the corner and a certain smell when you walked in there at a certain hour, to know how they talk to you when you give them the food. Like, you had to be there. And that's what this city is so beautiful at giving us a reference for, because it's like you had to be here to know that it's dudes that's dressed up in that anime that is from the trenches. Like they got a cousin that's about that business. You just think it's sweet. So it's like, it's not even to say like we all tough or something. It's just to say like we've seen enough life to have enough references to bring through in our art, to bring through in the way that we serve in community, and to bring through in a way that we carry ourselves in other spaces. It's like I was joking with you, and this $1 million worth of game. The janitor and the CEO got the same key cards. Treat everybody respectfully. The janitor and the CEO got the same key cards. Transition and whatever.
Everybody don't have that mindset. Like one of the things I learned by going to a bunch of different events, right? When I was in these spaces supporting people that I wanted to learn from, I didn't know who was in the room, right? So many times where I'd be at an event and somebody point out like, oh, that's such and such with this. Go talk to them. That's such and such. It's like you never know who in the room with you. You never know who in the room that possess whatever. So even if you may go there thinking like, I'm going to see this person, you don't get into an ignorant mindset of everybody else like me. They sitting here want to learn from this one person.
Tunnel vision on your creations, not tunnel vision in your relationships. Right. And that's one thing that's been a blessing for me, because that's how I network. I don't go in with a tunnel vision of an outcome. Right. Like, oh, this is his event. I got to make sure I talk to him before I leave.
Literally, like, even being at an event with you, like I said, I just was watching you, and you dapped up almost every cameraman. Like, that is important. Like,
they gonna mix it. It's funny, like, even if I'm not in the edit, right? If I don't even look like I was there, that's the important folks. And then it's like that little that little nugget, that little moment, even in the way I built the relationships with them, is just as authentic as, hey, yo, you sitting here, let me sit right there. Like, exactly. I was laughing because I had felt the way about not getting in VIP. Not that, like, I was just in my head, like, why didn't I just pay the extra? And I knew like 7 people in VIP. So I was like, oh, whatever. We ended up talking to each other, chopping it up. And as you saw in the event, it really didn't feel like that much of a difference anyway. Yeah. So it's these little subtle nuances that I've become to, I've just started to learn. Like, even, this is some good game for you. Get on the staff of an event you want to be at.
That's true.
I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to say what position, but I'm at bartenders who just happen to be at the concert of their favorite artists.
Because then that can turn, that can turn into an opportunity.
They got security guards at events.
You want to be there next year. You worked there the year before. Yeah. Now you can.
Hey, tonight we got Jay-Z here. We're going to need everybody. All hands on deck. Huh? We got who? So then it's like, you had these moments unintentionally, but they were the moments you asked for. So that's why I keep coming back to these concepts. Faith, I spoke about that with one of my guys that I went to school with, Shem Paul. He is a realtor now, and he owns a construction company. He started a construction company because he got into real estate. Just beautiful story. 27, black man from Poly. He went from Poly to, he's doing awesome things. And there's a lot of people doing awesome things. So I sat with him and we spoke about faith, not sight. Faith is, I'm in this dark room and I'm feeling around and I hear doors closing and I got an expectation of what my door is supposed to feel like, what my door is supposed to sound like, and I'm mad the door that I was about to walk through closed.
That's the truth. Like, when it come down to it, like, because like I said, it go back to the thing, like, nothing happened how you think is going to happen in your mind. So even if you feel like you got this plan all figured out or whatever, like, nah.
You make your plan and God laughing, like,
right.
you dreaming too small, buddy. I got something bigger
like,
for
you put the directions in on the app, man. You kind of like, all right, I'm gonna go this way. Then you start going that way. It's a detour this way. Then this street for some reason blocked off, and you gotta turn. You know what I'm saying? Like, now this 30-minute trip done took you 2 hours.
Somebody double parked, taking seafood salad out the back seat.
That's important, because I think a lot of times, like, people get discouraged when they feel like I'm supposed to be here on this day, and then when they're not, they so stuck on the fact like, I ain't where I supposed to be, but they lose track. Like, all right, but you made progress. You're not where you was yesterday. You ain't where you want to be, but you ain't where you was yesterday.
Don't draw no hard lines, because it's gonna be some hard times, and when them hard times come, every hard line is holding you in place to be something you don't got to.
And that's what definitely like build you up. Them hard times build you up.
Facts. Them hard times, that's a gratitude.
That because you gotta be like resilient when it comes to your dream, like, and whatever you want to accomplish. And without having them hard times, you ain't gonna know if you really want to do it. Like when it came to me, right? Like one of my moments where I was like, I had to prove to me that I wanted to do it. This was, I don't even want to get a year because I'm gonna be wrong, but it might have been like 2017, 2016, something like that. It was only my second performance. And my second rap performance. I was at SOB's at Creative Chaos. Shout out to Michelle Coolsey. And I was like, I want to rap. I'm gonna rap all my songs with no backtrack. Like I'm gonna have to say every single word.
That's God level MC right there. That's real attention right there.
That's my second performance. Like I'm in a whole different city, but I was like, I need this moment because if I can do this, I can always come back to this moment and be like, but you did that though.
Facts.
Like you did that though. When you ain't even had, like, when you felt at that moment you wasn't even ready to do that, you did that and you did it right. Like I ain't mess up. Like, and it was I practiced the entire time. Every single time I practiced, I messed up. Every single time I practiced, I messed up. I got on that stage and did it, and it was almost like an out-of-body experience. I was like, there's no way. It's like I'm trying to, like, I wasn't even thinking of the words that was coming. I was just in the moment, so much in the moment or whatever. But
it'll carry you away.
I did that just so I can always come back there. So when it comes to me, like, being in the moment and I may feel nervous or whatever, like, I literally just think back to be like, yo, what was harder than that?
That's a big fact.
Because now you at this point where now you more experienced. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you can't say this harder than that because back then you didn't. That was the second performance.
It don't even compare.
Like,
ooh, yep.
Yeah. So I think you definitely gotta have those moments where you challenge yourself, and you gotta, like I say, be resilient. You need to have those hard moments that you push through, and so you know, like, I ain't gonna break. Like when you start getting hit with stuff, it's like, all right, I've seen this before. I did this before. You know what I'm saying?
I used to say that, like, even workouts. My workout is tougher than some of the moments I be having. Like so it's like these intentional challenges daily. Like, can I stay committed to a workout? Was my thing. Can I stay committed to a diet? Can I stay committed to sending this good morning text? I've been committed to things that didn't have a benefit to me. Right. So why would I not be committed to the other?
Something that benefit,
you know, so it was them constant things. I just but yeah, it's definitely hard moments in life that will elevate you if you allow them to. They can definitely put you under, because I let a moment put me under a couple times.
Of course, yeah, I definitely.
And it's no shame. Like, that'd be the part where it's like this shame that's lying dormant.
But like at the time, like, I mean, we human. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're supposed to be.
We go through those emotions, and sometimes you need that, because that's another thing you can come back through. Like, look, I remember I thought it was over. I thought I was done, and look, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we need those moments. Sometimes we can't help it. You know what I'm saying? Facts. Sometimes you in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't always carry that bravado. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it happens, but
and
at the same time,
sense of your circle. Yeah, that's another little piece of nugget.
Yeah. Right, and yeah, that's important. And I want to share something like that I seen. Right, I might be wrong, right, when I say this, but in that moment, like, I seen myself, like, in you, right, when you was waiting to speak to Raven, right, and you almost wanted to turn around and just kept moving around talking to people. I was like, no, yo, go ahead. Yeah, because I remember, like, really, like, being in that space, right, and it's like kind of waiting around. You want to talk to somebody, and you're like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, like, but even me, because like I said, like, I work with Raven, like, here and now. certain things. So I know she's a very important person when it comes to like helping you get out your dreams, being able to help you formulate a plan. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, no,
They
I
gotta
want to
have,
see
yes,
that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cause you know what I'm saying? Cause that can do something, you know what I mean, to further you. And it's like,
absolutely.
and when it comes to certain things like this, you like I learned like you plant seeds, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Everything not gonna come out of that moment where you meeting this person, but you able
Hmm.
to next time you talk, hey, I was at such and such, da, da. Now you able to start relationship building. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
so
So I
beautiful.
seen that because that was like the beautiful thing to me when I realized it when I was doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was going to events and I wanted to meet people and start to like plant these seeds and build relationships. Like so when I seen that, I was like, yo, that's like it was just like dope to me because it was
Yeah,
like I remember
it's
being
so
I
surreal.
still yeah like I love those moments because so much can come from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Mm.
then I already see what you doing, and like I said, like you know what I'm saying, like, so like I hope you know what I'm
Mm.
saying, y'all
Mm.
sit and connect one day or whatever, like,
And that's the
and
power,
yeah,
bro. It's such a, it was interesting because it was two thoughts in my head. I was thinking, am I holding you up? Then I was thinking, am I awkward with this conversation she having? Because I don't want to force my way into something that's already here.
yeah,
So as she began to talk to me, it was in the way we needed to talk. So it was this like it's a funny, like I said, it's all funny how it comes together because it's always in a way that I don't expect or it's slightly uncomfortable because it was uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable being a guy with a hat and a shirt with like what do who you work for first, what media, and he looked 12 like
but then even that, like the dopeness of that, like, and like I said, like that go along with people, like showing people you doing the work, right?
mm,
Already being able to show somebody like I got, you know what I'm saying, I got my own logo, got my own shirts, got my own hats. You know what I'm saying? Like you able to show like the work you putting in. Like I'm not starting from zero, you know what I mean,
mm,
type thing. And not to say like like people in our city won't help because we in a city where like there's
yeah,
people willing to help on whatever stage you want. But when you able to show like you doing the work, like that's to me, like I feel like it's a big thing.
bro.
Like I said, like I love being able to sit and be like, well, I already did this. I'm already started on this. You know what I'm saying? So you can see like
This is in this the
I ain't
evolution.
talking. I ain't trying to waste your time. You know what I'm
Is
saying?
motion is
Yeah.
motion here. And the thing about the motion, I had that conversation with James versus Juice, dope brother, doing fitness, all type of stuff. Follow. You create motion. The motion is not the money, it's not the cars, it's not the things you see around me, it's not the accolades. The motion is I want to do that. I'm about to go do it. I want to write a book. I'm about to do a page today. I'm about to do a paragraph. I'm about to write a sentence. I'm gonna just name it without having no book. Like couldn't let you tell it and you won't. I'm like, you're not telling your mama. And even after you get to know what it is, you still can't tell it the way I will. So it's like this energy, like, it's these moments that, like, even growing up with meme culture, like, it was a dude who used to get on it. There's a couple, my cousin used to be
Well,
like
man,
cheeks, and that's how but my face muscles from laughing too much at stupid
oh yeah.
moments online, but it was like, these guys are actors. This man said, better get me some Chick-fil-A with the special sauce, if you know what that is. But it was like his face he made, he's in the woods, it's black and white. I'm like, why was that a thing? But it was hilarious and slightly
Yeah.
scary. I'm just saying that to say it's so many things that I still have a reference for. And this has been based in my references. I had a reference to everything in the city. I used to go to the poetry events, be a fly on the wall. I performed in some of them. I was going to
That
art galleries when they first started.
that's
Like,
and I think that's one of the biggest things when it comes to like whatever you want to do, like just
mm-hmm.
stop getting in those spaces where you starting to
Yes.
see how things happen. Cause sometimes you'll sit back, right, and you'll think like everybody just perfect top of the line or whatever. Like you'll think like I'm so below these, you know what I'm saying? Like you'll think I ain't worthy or something like that. And then you go and you'll start to see like not only like everybody got their own different style. You know what I'm saying? You may have people that read out their phones. You might be sitting back thinking like, I gotta memorize everything. You got people that's reading on their phones. And I just say like it takes away from whatever. No, it's just you learning different styles. Like what you're doing is will still be appreciated in this space.
It's your training wheels. And I laugh at people poking fun at training wheels. It's like your training wheels might have been that you knew it perfectly, but you were stiff. You might not have moved the 1 inch. You might have been shaking with the mic, but you know your word. It's like, so it's these parts where it's easy to point at the phone because that's something everybody has said is whack. But if we switch gears and we was like people who yell too much when they do their poetry annoying, all the loud poets is about to feel awkward. And it's like, we don't got to do that to nobody at no point of this. Like, I just laugh. I laugh so much at the rules that we create because like I learned that when I was in service. I didn't tell people I was a teacher initially because I knew what the conversation would become. Oh, I love teachers. I'm so proud. And I just get so irritated because I'm like, bro, I work here every day. I don't see y'all love in real life. Like, these kids is annoying. She came here eating hot Cheetos and I said no food in this class. Stop talking to me about what you love because I need to see it in person. So it's like, I did receive actual appreciation from real people in real time, from parents. Some of my students' parents were people I already knew in the community. So when I was running, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm glad I didn't say anything crazy, too crazy. That's a part too. So it's this reality that we are real people, have real people go through ups and downs. Like, your favorite comedian could be going through it. I mean, we've lost people in these processes of them trying to meet a standard that we've set for them. Like, even in this thing for myself, I have to remind myself, like, it's okay to not be that consistent. It's okay to throw up an old video. Because some people haven't seen it anyway because the algorithm is disgusting.
And that's the thing too. Like, that's what I had to learn. Like, when it kind of like doing music and stuff like that. It's like, nah, you gotta realize everybody ain't heard this. It's old to you.
It's old to you.
And it's not old to them. You know what I'm saying?
This whole idea is old to me. But it's brand new to every new person I meet. So I gotta talk like it's brand new.
Like I did an example. One of my friends, I'm like, even when you think about it on a bigger scale, right? I'm like, when I started like really like listening to Jay-Z, like he was on like the Blueprints and all of that. Like I wasn't, and then when he dropped, Reasonable Doubt dropped 96, I was 2 or whatever. Like, so it's like, I ain't get to experience that in a moment, but still, even as big as he is, I still went backwards. I was telling one of my friends, I'm like, take that same way, like how you like to be a fan of an artist, and apply it to yourself. And think about that. Like, all right, like you want to lay down the groundwork so when people discover you, they want to go backwards, right? When nothing new dropping, they want to be like, all right, I done hear
what was there?
Everything. Like, now let me go back. Like, oh, this was hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, they gonna sit back and be like, you was doing this back then.
You was in the future. Like, when we was in the past.
Like, I think that's a real important part. Like, just lay down the work. Like, stop being caught up in like, I ain't doing this right now. I ain't doing this. No, just lay down the work. So whenever somebody discover you, they can sit back and go, oh shoot, you got this, you did this back then, because it's still new to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's important to like just build that up, have that type of catalog. You know what I mean? Give the people something to when they fiending. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you want it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and somebody that supports you, whereas though, like I said, like, dang, you ain't got nothing new. Let me go listen to this old. Yeah.
The journey. And I'm gonna be able to unpack more of it the more I go. But like, I graduated in 2014. I graduated high school in 2014. It's 2023. Next year will be 10 years. 10 years of moving through moments that somebody said was supposed to define me. Moments that was supposed to stop me. Moments that did not stop me. Like, moments that got me to this point. Like, CharmCityBipper is like my 4th idea of a clothing brand. Like, 4th.
I love that name too. That was dope.
And it's funny because it's like, it's a conversation starter. People are like, you cut hair? I tried. Like that, I literally tried. I be trying to cut my own at times. Don't be judging me. So it just be what it is. Like, a guy from a place, that was a concept that came to me from just being at the lake a lot. So a guy came down there. He's a graphic designer, actually on Harford Road.
Okay.
So he's like, I'm not even from here, but like I see the value in the city. It's like, this is a story I keep hearing, and I'm not mad at it. I'm grateful. I just want my family to know it too. So like, he's like, yeah. I was like, so what's your name? I'm Guy from a place. I like that. My real name is. Yeah, that's cool. But it was funny to start the conversation, like have a conversation moment. Like I'm like, oh, a guy from a place. When I'm just a guy, I'm every guy. When I'm just from a place, I'm from everywhere. And when I'm from everywhere, and when I'm everybody, I'm nobody. And when I'm nobody, all of these concepts are the goal of life. I don't gotta be nobody. And like this constant desire to be somebody has been grafted to us by this device that the person who created it didn't even like at times, who didn't allow their children to use iPads and the newest equipment that he created until they were of a certain age, because they had to know what it was before they touched it.
Yeah.
It's a smartphone with a lot of not so smart users. And I've been a not so smart user at times. So
we all have.
we're all capable. And that's why I'm a guy from a place and you're a guy from a place and we happen to be from the same place. And it's like this thing of we're all just folks from places doing things until we're not doing them. And it's just living with that at the smallest is like, yo, I got to be a writer at one point.
Yeah,
I got to be a dad at one point.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we come back to like, you don't know what's that that climax moment, like, or when you sit back, like, at the end of the day, you just want to be happy with what you accomplished. Like, that's where I find myself at now. Like, I'm just at the point where it's like, I want to be able to do what I'm doing and just, I want to give it a good push.
Genuine joy.
So when 20, 30 years, when I sit back and I look, I be like, I did that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is like, I did that. I know I put in my best effort. I took it wherever I took it, and I'm proud of it. Like, I'm at that stage. Like, now I want to be able to just, I want to work and put in as much work as I can, and as much work that's going to allow me to just sit back and be proud of what I did.
Yes, God.
Like,
yes, indeed.
I'm there.
Yes.
Like, I want to be reflective and be able to enjoy it. Like, I don't want to sit back and be like, oh damn, if only if I sat back and I don't want to be if only if I don't want to. I could. I heard too many stories about like guys that he could have went to the NBA if he would have just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be one of them. Like, if he would have just kept writing. Nah,
and it's wild because a lot of folks, that's the other side of it. A lot of the folks tell you not to do it will be the ones who will say you should have kept going. So it's funny how everybody has the ability to play multiple roles in your life. Just remember, like, you're constantly recasting. You're the director when you allow yourself to be. You're a lot of things when you allow yourself to be. Let's give him a piece. Give him a piece. What's your favorite piece? Dawson.
I want to do if you don't mind.
Hey, I don't mind. Get busy. Do your art.
I'm gonna do my my second verse from my latest single, One Love. And it goes, Black love is everything. Don't let them tell you different. Black love is everything. Hold on.
Give us.
Hold up. Black love is everything. Don't let them tell you different. Black love is everything. Love with intention. Don't fall in love with attention. That's a trap. The allure of an image. The culture control can't conceal what you feeling. Love cures all. Time to make up need some healing. To the pain we seen a lot. Can't complain, just sit and jot. Be a voice cause children watch. One day they gotta come up in this world that we leave them. Gotta give them something to believe in. A chance, a passion, a reason. Leave the world better than you found it. That's the purpose, that's the meaning. If it ain't, then why you breathing? I suggest you losers move it. This is hip hop, the intelligent movement. God loves, love God, cause we was made just to love. Do your part, don't fall apart. You know about the art of war, but what about the art of love? Like, that to me, like, that's one of my that's my favorite song that I ever wrote. And it's a part of a project called The Kids Are Watching. and sadly, it's inspired by just lately, like just seeing all of the stories of like the shooting, killing, murders or whatever. But now I'm looking and I'm just seeing the ages attached to it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm seeing 15-year-old, 16-year-old, you know what I'm saying, 7-year-old.
Looking at the transitional points they at and thinking about I said, well, who's connected to these 7-year-olds? Who's connected to this 15-year-old? What little brother was there? What little cousin is there? Like my cousin got hurt and like he not coming back, and
you know
I gotta move forward from here.
And that circle, that space where it's like these kids are younger and younger and younger going through this type of trauma. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to deal with that trauma at my age. I'm 28. It's hard to deal with it at my age. So I can't imagine, you know what I'm saying, being that young and you trying to deal with that and navigate through that, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, like the project it's coming soon. I don't have a date for it yet, but I really just wanted to speak to that, like, and cause I feel a lot of times when it comes to music, like it's not a lot of artists that I feel like really speaking to the youth. You know what I'm saying? Like we say it's for the youth, but it ain't a lot of songs where they can go back and sit and be like, this is for me. Like when I was younger, I remember like, and that's why I say like the single One Love, one of my favorite songs. Excuse me, because I remember watching Nas I Can't, right, and I felt like
I can
this was for me.
be what I wanna be.
Like, I didn't feel like, you know what I'm saying, like I didn't think my mother was gonna be sitting there blasting this. Like it felt like it was kids in the video. Like it felt like this was speaking to me. So I wanted to kind of just get back to that space and make a whole project kind of speaking to that generation and bringing back that type of music, because it's important. Because like I said, like the kids are watching, so if they constantly see this disruptive and destructive nature come from the people that's supposed to be their leaders, they're only going to follow in those footsteps. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's next for me, as well as just promoting my book, but definitely getting this project out and start pushing that and the message behind it, because I really like that. Like that's times where like I want to sit back and just do the rapidy rap like all day. Like I want to do that all day, but at a certain time it just be like, nah, just do something a little bit, like, and it's gonna be whatever it's gonna be. But it's like sacrificing that just doing it just to do it, just the I can rap. I can rap really good, like, but actually just putting a message and purpose behind it and making that type of music.
That's why, oh my God, J Flow,
I want to really like try to inspire and better the city with that.
Is a power behind being intentional with your art.
Yeah, and
sometimes it's overlooked. A lot of people aren't very cognizant or conscious of how intentional Michael Jackson is, how intentional Tupac was, Jay-Z. Like a lot of the greatest are intentional. It's like, oh, it just came to me. It's like sometimes it just comes to you, but then it's like, are you using everything that come to you? Because is that part. But I used to love like to keep your head up. I loved it's a hard knock,
like it spoke, like, you know what I'm saying, it spoke to you at that age. It felt like at this moment, like this rap is speaking to me. He's talking to me, because a lot of times, you know, it's a disconnect when you listen to something and they in the club and whatever, you 14, like we can imagine, you know what I'm saying, we could be
and we could
play, and play around.
We had the little play cigarettes. Like we used to have the cap guns. We had all of that.
Put the gum wrapper in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like it was these moments that we all share that we forget about at times. But it's like those were the moments that similar to the ones we're judging as adults.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've done it. and I keep saying because I gotta be here first. I would say like I don't want to see these kids loving this artist like that. And I was
But
like,
you gotta
you
realize,
listen to Lil
yeah, it's
Wayne
like it's
in a way where
you
you
gotta
were
let them
supposed to
have their course. You know what I'm saying? Let them go about their way.
embrace.
But at the same time, like I said, like even what I'm doing, I want to put that message out there, right? Because I feel like that was there for me, and I don't say it as much. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now I want to try to translate that message. You
You
know
know
what I'm
what's
saying?
powerful, and I'm laughing as I say it because I remember how dudes were being called corny for doing that, the thing we talking about. But I'm grateful for them being corny when they
Yeah.
had. I'm grateful for Fresh Prince as a reference because it's like, okay, you can be in other spaces. You can be parents just don't understand. You can be LL Cool J with rap. You can be all of these. Like that's what I loved about
Yeah.
hip hop. That's what I still love about hip hop.
Yeah.
Even in this moment, like we got artists talking about things where I'm like, I don't know how you're saying that. It need an OnlyFans account. Like that song need an OnlyFans because that's different. But it's funny. It's clever. I ain't gonna lie. It's clever right there. But I don't want to be 10 hearing that. And I was saying like on one of them, like the access to nude models, the access to seeing murder, the act like
I think
it's
about
different.
right. Is no like the parental advisory.
It's
That
gone.
is non-existent.
You don't gotta
Like literally, like for us, literally when we were growing up, for us to see something on the internet, we had to find it.
yeah.
And today it finds you. Like it's nothing stopping a child from sitting on TikTok, sitting on Instagram, just scrolling through videos, and it'll go from
I'd be scared.
whatever
It's like a
you can think
Rolodex.
about.
My niece is like 3. She may be 3 or 4. And it's we don't be remember now.
I'm talking about
Yeah,
ages too.
they just be growing, getting big. But she was on TikTok and she be watching this dancing. And I'm like, what is that? And then every now and then I'll see these videos where they'll do a parent describing like this was something where the kids were really into it and he was telling them to hurt themselves and stuff. I'm like, huh?
That's what I'm saying. And then it'll be dressed up like it's
Dressed
something.
up like it's for the kids. I'm like,
Yeah,
yo,
and
that's toxic right
it's
now.
crazy because like now more so than ever, like it's so. I feel like it's hard to judge a parent to say like, well, you let your child do this, and it's just like it's hard because you don't want to be too hard on a child and be like, you can't watch this, but then when you do that, you don't know what's coming next, so it's hard. So even if you put this phone in front of this child and you got your child, they watching little dance videos or whatever, then they keep scrolling down, it's twerking.
Facts.
Like it's
like
just,
and then is this thing was like, well, twerking ain't bad. I'm like, but she's 5.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what
like,
that's what's like awkward. Is like
I don't judge,
and
but
that,
at the same time, like when it comes to a child,
children,
right? A child gonna look at this is fun. They're not gonna see the other side of it,
right.
or you know what I'm saying? They're gonna look, oh, this looks fun.
Let me give you this. I said, in an era where everything is acceptable, quote unquote, people are using traumatic situations as their playtime. Walking around with a gun like I got it on me as your playtime when it was another man's protection. Your ski mask, this ski mask has become a trend. You don't even rob nobody. No, and not to say you should, but it's like you don't even know the intention behind the robberies. Is that
they just need it right now? They need to take the ski mask off.
It's wild out here, bro.
I've seen way too many ski masks in 90-degree weather.
It's wild. It's wild. I'd be like, it's a whole nother,
like
it's different.
Like it is,
and is that
true? Like
it's a fine line at this point.
Like what used to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like you ain't even really supposed to let nobody know you got the gun.
I keep it on me. I'm like, okay.
Like okay. That ain't even supposed to be how it's done, but we in such of a show and tell.
Yes.
Like the world has become show and tell.
I need you to see me do it.
You have to see I got it.
No, I don't care.
Like you have to see I got money. You have to see this. You have to see that. Like we really I think being private is really being stolen. Like we lost the value of privacy.
Yes.
It's like you really it comes back to photo books. Nobody want the photo book in that house no more. The photo book gotta be on Instagram. We
Everybody gotta see my photo book.
And that's like just thinking, would you ever take your family photo book and walk down the street and just start showing people?
You don't know my peoples?
No.
You're not supposed to know these peoples.
Like, but in today's time, like that's what it's become. Like, you gotta show everybody everything or it didn't happen.
I'm grateful for that.
I still like, and this is what I battle with, because I need to start taking more pictures, but at the same time, I still want to be able to tell stories.
That's what I was about to say.
Like, I still want to be able to sit back and be able to really go through, like, this happened and this happened, because we eliminating that as well. Because now I can just show you this picture and like, oh, I was there. But no, when you sit back and tell a story, you're going, yo, I was all the way in the back, some way, somehow. I ended up getting in the front and blah blah blah. Like, it's a story. Now it's bringing it to life. Nobody want to bring these moments to life no more. Like, everybody just want to. It's just a,
now look at that. They don't have a reference. They don't have a reference, and that's why I keep coming back to it. It's like somebody told me when I was teaching, if your class is disruptive, you didn't teach them well enough. I said, huh? You didn't teach them how they're supposed to behave when there's a moment, there's a break in the instruction. You didn't teach them how they're supposed to behave when somebody walks in the door that's not familiar. You didn't teach them how they're supposed to behave when you show up 3 minutes late. There have to be these things that they're taught all the way through, and everything is a learned behavior. Appreciation is a learned behavior. Right. Some people appreciate by, yeah, that was hard. That's the end of it. Some people appreciate, yo, you the God. And then it's like, you also have people who get used to certain types of appreciation. So it's like, oh, that was fake, but it might have been his real. Yeah, so it's such a mental game that we're dealing with in these spaces. That's the power network, and that's all it is. But I will say, as I think about it, the thing with the kids right now, they need more references. We got to teach them more than we realize. Because like, I know, they say the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Some say the darker the flesh, then the deeper the roots. I give a holler to my sisters on welfare. Kids, when nobody else cares. They don't even know what name was there sometimes, right? When they say, it was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine. Hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, Rap Attack, Mr. Magic Marley Marl. What was it? In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, maxing all cool and all, shoot some b-ball outside of a school with a couple of guys. They was up to no good. Started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight and my mom's got scared. She said, you move with your auntie and local Bel Air. And then it was funny. My uncle had the whole DVD box set. So I got to see the first episode. It's like, I back didn't bleed it, and day after day. Like,
the extended joint.
The extended joint. Like, that was a music video. So it's these things where it's like, I'm blessed and grateful for every reference. I'm blessed and grateful to be watching Good Times on repeat. Like,
and like a lot of when it comes to the kids, like, they don't even have those.
They don't like making your way, like keeping your head above water.
They don't have these representations no more. Like a normal black family.
It's so distant. It's so distant.
Like, it's crazy. Like, that's why I say we gotta do even better job, because we gotta be the ones to notice, hey, they don't have this.
It's on us.
So we can't keep expecting them to do more than us with less. Right? And so, like, it's on us to start filling these spaces, filling these voids, and being like, look, I gotta make sure I'm giving them what I had. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to see them go further.
And I won't always
be here. Yeah, exactly. Good way to bring that back around. But yeah, like, that is so important. Like, we have to, like I see myself, like, everything that I do, I literally just try to be the person I wanted to have. Like, I'm literally the person that when I was younger, I used to sit back and be like, I wish I had this. Like, that's exactly who I try to be.
I literally take a moment to talk to the kid that was asking for this guy. Like, that's an intentional effort too. It's like, oh, you here? We good. I know you was mad about how they was arguing and they ain't stopping. You was crying and all that. You good though? You look at what happened after that. You got some ice cream day,
Exactly.
and then you know that crush you had. You got to talk to her. So like, and you doing what you want to do. So like, we good. And everything we went through was for the reasons it was for. So it was like, as I'm able to say that to myself, I can say that to these kids. You can say, bro, I understand they're in jail right now. I understand that mom isn't who you thought she was supposed to be. I want you to know everybody's mom isn't who they thought they were supposed to be. I want you to know that off the cuff. Like sometimes we get this fantasy that we get attached to, even in a relationship. We're like, oh, this girl gotta be this, and if she's not that, then I cannot marry her. I cannot commit to that idea. And it's like, how committed are you to yourself?
Exactly.
That's a question I ask myself, fellas. How committed am I to the ideas that I value? How much grace do I give myself? Do I even understand what grace is? Like these are real time questions where it's like, oh, you not giving yourself grace for when you couldn't make that appointment. You don't give yourself this grace for when you are tired. Like and
that was my thing.
you know, it's like that lack, that little, and it's a balance because sometimes it does border lazy. Like I definitely had some lazy habits in a previous life, so I don't shame nobody because I know what it's like to have to get that dust off your body so you can get out and start watching that Netflix series. but it's like, just remembering that the moment you're in won't be the moment. It won't always be the moment. The moment you're in will not always be the moment. You may feel like you're behind in life. I'm 27. I've made a lot of I've had a lot of moments where people was like, you can't do nothing after that. Or and when I say you can't do nothing after that, I'm saying like somebody was saying I was supposed to graduate with a bachelor's degree in engineering. I didn't even go for engineering and I didn't get a bachelor's degree. They said I need to go back and get my bachelor's degree or I can't do anything. You can't be a teacher without a bachelor's degree. I was a teacher without a bachelor's degree because the city was in turmoil.
And the thing that people don't understand is sometimes like it take the will.
The
like,
will.
The will.
There's a will. There's
you,
oh,
it will get you there. Like
bless it.
That straight and narrow path. It may yield a higher percentage of it happening, right? But just because you don't go that route, don't mean it's not there. Because what they say, like how they say, hard work beat talent every day.
Talent don't work hard. Look at that.
Like,
yeah.
It's like as long as it's a will and you putting in that work, it's a way for you to get there.
Absolutely.
It's going to be unconventional,
by the
but
grace
you can get there. And I think a lot of times people get lost in that because people be so by the book. You gotta do this to do that.
Is that it's easy to get stuck in that because it's safe, supposedly. But that's what the pandemic showed me. That's why this is even a thing. Because I met that point in life where I was like, I've done a lot of safe things. I've done a lot of things they said I was supposed to, and they didn't work.
That was my thing too. It was like I just started feeling like when it came to like work and stuff like that, it's like I'm doing all the things that everybody told me to do, but why do I feel kind of empty? Like why do I feel like I'm just here? Why do I feel like I'm just here for this check and that's it? Excuse me. So I had to realize like, nah, you need to start taking those risks. You need to start jumping, because that's how you're gonna get the things that you want. Like,
yes.
And when I sit back and like I look at everything that come with it, like everything like that I came across during this artistic journey for me, everything been beautiful. Like I can't I really can't sit back and say like I've had all these negative moments on I haven't. Like most of the negative moments came from just like me battling myself.
It's always me versus me in those moments.
It's been a beautiful journey when I feel like I'm doing things that's a part of my purpose.
Like, you're aligned.
Even saying it with you, like this is like a beautiful moment. I'm glad I'm able to sit back and have these type of conversations because of the work that I put in. Like I can sit back and talk like this and be able to give back that knowledge, you know what I'm saying? And really sit back and reflect, enjoy, but like that's a real like thing to me. It's like
Yes.
I really like, you know what I'm saying? Like took those risks, and every single time I took that risk, I came out feeling a little better.
Your risk determines your reward. You
Mm-hmm.
take small risks, you get small reward. It's realistic. It's like when you got nothing on the line, there's nothing coming back to you. And I asked myself when I started, like, what you really got to lose? You really don't care that they call you a teacher. You really don't care about like the fact that you got a credit score, but you ain't get no money. So like your credit score cool, but like
Yeah, it's like
these moments, like okay.
it's like
I don't mean this. I don't
to
say
me.
that to knock
Nah,
anybody
I
in
get
these
what you said.
positions. It was just I was in my head like, okay, I'm holding on to like whatever reputation I've created. I'm holding on to this you a good person identity. And it's like good person is subjective. Cause it's people that are good by a standard
Good.
of like if the standard is just go to work and come home, that ain't hard to meet.
Exactly.
Like well, who are you in between those moments? Like so is and then it's like is why we even gotta put a label on good,
Good or
bad, and it's
bad,
like
yeah.
you're just a person until you leave it. So yeah, but like you said, it's beautiful to leave one of the dopest events that I've been to in the city
Yeah.
for
And
the
it's
references.
great. For one, it's crazy when you sit back, right? Like I'm a fan of the podcast in general.
Absolutely.
And then on top of that, everything that like Raven added to it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like it was the cherry on top. It was like, all right, I'm coming to see the podcast and I'm getting to see this other side of Baltimore that don't get talked about a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting to come in and soak up all this knowledge. And then it's dope. Like I said, like when you go out and go to places, you'll be amazed to see the people that's in that space. So you think you waking up, you doing something, then you start seeing people like, oh, you here. Like I said, it started to make you feel like it's confirmation. Like, oh, I'm doing something right. This person here, this person here. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it ain't even start. I ain't start thinking like I want to go because I want to see who's gonna be there. I'm thinking I want to go because you know what I'm saying. Like I said, like I enjoy their podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to see it live. And then it's like, look, I got way more than I thought I would.
Always. And it's stuck on me how little grace we give each other for the events in this city. I've been to one of the dopest fashion shows I've seen in a while, 25th Street Fashion Show. I went to Cleon's comedy show that was in this building.
Yeah, that was dope. Yeah.
I wasn't here for this event. I've been to the Black Ass Flea Market events. And I hear people's review after the fact, and it's like, that's all you saw? I'm like, I've been to other cities where they started late, where it felt like they spit in my face on the way in the door as they patted me down. I'm like, I got an ID on my phone. No, that ain't good enough, bro. I need to see the physical. It's like, but this is literally me. Like,
exactly.
I don't got no reason to hide. I'm not even gonna drink. You got a special thing for that? It's like, nah, bro. Come back with a real ID. Like, bro, my car. I don't care about your car. All right, bet. I said, no grace in these events. But and I would say, wait. I even used to do it. I like this one right, that one right. But don't let that stop you from going to events. Nah. The events that I've seen this year are amazing.
Beautiful, well put together.
Beautiful events. Afram was dope. Afram, like seeing Club Mix honored was like, a whole other bag for me.
It just was dope. I even loved how they had it set up because they had the 3 different stages and how they had the time scheduled. Like everything was going on at one time, but everything, like every stage kind of shut down and just led you to the main stage, like towards the end of the night. Like, and it was dope. It was,
and it's the first time. That's what I really want people to be conscious of. We be judging each other too hard, and I say we be in the broken English. We be judging each other too hard off of stuff that don't got to be great the first time. It don't got to be perfect the first time, but it is great. It is great to see the mayor giving out awards to legends, Club Mix legends.
You seen the effort put behind these things to acknowledge what's been going on in the city.
Yep.
Like that's to me the biggest part. Like when we start acknowledging like what been going on and just like how we was in this space, you know what I'm saying? It was a whole segment where they, excuse me, was acknowledging people for the work that they did. Like it's that
Absolutely. Blessings.
like
And I learned
that
new
part of it.
names. I learned the
Yeah.
faces behind spaces. I had no idea. I didn't know that brother ran Poppy Cuisine. I didn't know he was doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like I just was seeing it from
And
time to
then I
time.
mean it's even dope.
Alex
I
Perez.
always love to speak about like Nacho Bangers. Cause
Huey
I
Nacho. Shout out.
remember when he was selling food outside his house, on Luzerne, like right around the corner from my grandma's house. I like to me, like that's something I love to see, like from outside of the house to having its own store to it being everywhere. Like that to me is like that's beautiful. And that's another thing when it comes to acknowledging these things. Like we
Yes.
have these beautiful stories
Yes.
in the city. Like you don't have to
Go far to find
yeah,
it.
like it's everywhere. Like people
Mm.
really here really been putting in a lot of work and it's a lot of beauty and inspiration
That's
around us.
making me
Like we
think
just
too.
gotta
I'm thinking
uh,
is who I'm trying to figure out how many people weren't from Baltimore that I've interviewed. Because most people have either been from Baltimore or like working closely with somebody from Baltimore. That's a blessing.
yeah.
It's more than 30 interviews at this
Is
point.
that's comes along with what we talking about. Just shedding that light on what's going on because these
Ooh.
kids need to know, more importantly. And then on top of that, it's people our age that don't understand it, right?
Mm.
And then they'll be able to sit back and be like, all right, I can do this. Like
Yes.
there's a
Yes.
million stories like here. Like there's a lot of beautiful things in the city. Like we just can't let it get
Forever and
overshadowed. I mean, of
always.
course, there's a lot of things that we need to work on and we need to fix.
Dress.
And but it's also we also have groups that's doing the footwork on that too.
10 Day of Family
Today,
is
yeah.
right out of McElderry Park with it on
Uh,
Monument Street.
I worked with Tunde multiple times, like doing their cleanups.
Fire.
I went to high school with Elijah. Like he was somebody to me is a huge inspiration because he comes along with, like I said, like you know what I mean. I want to write for the child that's like me and the child that's unlike me because they can get something from it. Like to me, like I seen Elijah come up, like he wasn't always that. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't ashamed to say that. You know what I'm saying? He'll show you that. You know what I'm saying? But what he came from, that would have been one of the kids where somebody would have said, "Oh, you give up on a child like that."
Look, I ain't gonna lie,
Yeah.
and it's funny because I was dweeby, and somebody probably won't find that hard to believe because of how I talk. Because I used to get made fun of for speaking too proper. I'm down the way, like, yes, please, yes, ma'am,
Talking too white.
yeah, talking too white. I was like, okay, I'm sorry, my bad, niggas, my bad, missus. So I'm being silly, but it's like. I'm thinking about those moments I had coming up over East, and I'm right down the street from Northeast Market.
We grew up in
You
the
know,
same neighborhood.
you probably know my cousins. Like that's how funny it is. Like, but I'm going from like Chester and Madison up the street to Valentino's.
That's funny. My grandma's house was on Madison.
That's hilarious. What block?
Madison, Luzerne. So right,
Madison,
yeah.
and my father probably, we got some cousins around there. My father, he'd be like, yeah, because we was on Biddle. My great grandmother was on Biddle. My grandmother on my mother's side was on Chester Street. My aunt was on Montfort. Like,
yeah, all around. That's how my family was. Everybody was kind of in walking distance.
And they started when they knocked them buildings down. East
yeah.
Baltimore was done. It was
Yeah.
evil. It was evil. Or it started you the Johns Hopkins ticket. Go out the county. You be all right.
Hopkins, they dirty, man. What got me was the bike lane on Miami Street.
Ooh.
I hate that.
I'm not gonna lie. What has me right now is what's that park that they got around the corner? Eager Park.
Oh yeah,
Eager Park. I was like, oh,
and then Starbucks. The Starbucks that's the flag.
yeah, I said it. I
That
said
is the flag.
this is
Once the
not yours.
Starbucks is there, it is a wrap.
I said Starbucks and a smoothie spot. I like both, but
once you see the Starbucks,
yeah. See, I got a rooftop hotel around the corner from my grandmother's house. This is
that's the craziest part. Like that hotel, you look and be like, I would never stay there.
I'm sick. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it being one of my long-term dreams. I might have to put this behind the scenes too. Is to buy my grandmother a block, like, and have a block party. Like, even not just rent it out for a day. This is our street.
I think that's dope. One of my closest friends, he went back and bought a house. He didn't get his grandmother's house. He's still trying to get it, but he got a house on the same block. You know what I'm saying? And he was able to come back. Yeah, and I even think that's big. You know what I'm saying? Like to come back, because that's a neighborhood. That's keeping it in the family. That's memories. It's keeping it together.
We was outside our house more than we was in it. So if I buy anything on that street, if I buy a cup of coffee from that Starbucks, I'm like, I don't forget Starbucks. But bro, if I leave anything down there, like I scrape my knee on her block 1,000 times.
Shed blood.
Shed blood. I got hit in the head with a brick in a parking lot across the street. Like, I had moments down there. I love those moments because it's like people see me in spaces like, how you doing this? I'm like, because I've seen darker days. I've been blessed to make it through a lot more than you will ever know.
Like, people don't. I used to think it was normal. Like, when you heard gunshots, I thought it was I thought this was just a regular day. I thought every kid was doing this. What you mean? Y'all mothers don't come in your room and be like, get on the floor?
Real talk. Real talk. And it's wild because it's like and I recognize my privilege in it, because it was like I'm hearing it, but then there's a point in the night where I'm going up the street. There's a point but I'm still like, oh, my cousin got shot. Oh, your uncle just went to jail. Oh, you was just outside with him. He just walked you up down the street. He not coming home for 10 years. It's like, what?
Those would be the ones I never like. Those I just was with, and
and it's like, then I'm up the street and people are playing games based on what their cousins doing. So now it's dudes walking with flags. It's people get access to guns because somebody had an extra one. One of my classmates shot himself, dead in 7th grade. And there's these moments where it's like, I'm watching it in what felt like the suburbs. Wasn't even the suburbs. We on the edge of Parkville. Like, we didn't cross over the line into Parkville. We on the edge of Parkville. And I'm like, oh, it's happening in all of these spaces. And people dealing with grief, and they dealing with the emotion in the same way. And sometimes when you're in the hood or you in these spots where it's like, oh, y'all see this every day, you get numb to it in a way where your heart closes off to hear anybody else's pain. Like, oh, what you sad about that for?
I just seen, it's like,
I saw a dead cat the other day.
That's Tuesday. That's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
But it's definitely messed up when you think about like how it's happening, how frequent it's happening, and then you kind of turn it off as a defense mechanism.
As a defense,
like,
as a coping.
It's like people don't understand that part. You turn it off because it's like, if I sit and think about this all day, I'm going to be of no use to society. Like, if I sit back, because if I sit back and dwell on this or I have to think about this, it's like, I'm not going to be productive. There's a Lupe line. He was like, it's hard to be smart when the only thing on your mind is dying from a thumper. Whatever, something like that.
Blessed are the knowers.
And that's true, because it's like, it's hard to hear these things, wake up the next morning and go to school.
Big fact. It's like, I'm grateful for the teachers who are able to elevate some mind beyond the reality of your life.
That was I say, like, that's a beautiful thing. Like, when the teacher able to do that, Whereas though for that time in that classroom, that kid got to escape reality.
You travel somewhere else.
And that's what, to me, like, when I was coming up, that's what helped me, right? Because I was able to see and think beyond my block. So like now I know it's more life out here. Like, even though, like, all right, this is what I'm saying, but I done sat here in this class, I done read this book, I done traveled to this place, and now I can see and think like, all right, this ain't permanent. I don't have to stay here.
It's not forever.
And then on top of that, it started creating my idea of I can make a change. Like, I can show them, hey, look, this ain't everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I think is really all about. Like, it's not just finding something out or having that knowledge and thinking like, all right, now I got it, let me go run. No, it's about I got it. Now let me put in the work.
All of it. All of it. Like, nobody's gonna be able to say I didn't, is what I live with. And it's like, when I say that, it's still gonna be somebody that tries. But I'm comfortable enough and confident enough in the intention I set and the outcome I got. Because it's like, okay, I set out. I literally say on the first episode, which was just an intro of me in the room, like mumbling because it was late and I had recorded it like 4 times. I was like, this ain't, just do it. I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this for sure, but I know I've been doing it because I got to. I've been saying how it had to be, how it need to look, and I'm just going to do it as it is. And as it is was getting my car washed with my cousin on a Sunday. On the way to get the car washed, let's take out the microphones. Let me put my laptop on the back seat. Let's record on my Logic audio interface. So I only have Logic because I want to be a rapper. So
I'll use the same.
You know, transit people. Why you use Logic? I make beats in Logic. I like Logic. Whatever.
I love Logic.
I'm rocking with the Logic. Press and record, looking back 3 times to make sure it's still red and the laptop ain't die. Then I buy the little joint so I can charge it. Like, all these little things that came to me along the way. A brother, Ulysses Archie, gave me some wireless mics. So there's a point where it get a little dry. I don't know how to make things shake, but I'm like, let me get these quick interviews. I had a wireless mics. These moments that have just been constant blessings. Shout out to G Money. Shout out to Ron, who I'm doing the podcast in his car. That's another idea. So then I take that to do the podcast with my guy Shem. Do it in his C8. Like, it's these moments I'm like, oh, switch it up. Keep this versatility, keep this gratitude, and there's no telling where it's going. I'm able to do podcasts in New York. You feel me? Like, I'm meeting people up there that's like, oh, you need this. Shout out Brandon Bespoke. They got a whole store in Dawson dedicated to custom clothing. So it's custom tailoring for full-on suits if you need to get that look off. It's custom streetwear and street apparel. Beautiful brand. Awesome individuals. So it's these different things that just keep coming to me, and I'm just constantly wanting to let my students know first, because we do it for the kids. Shout out to for my kids. I got to get a first public speaking moment with a couple 7, 8-year-olds. It was an awesome moment. But those are the moments that have built me, and I just want y'all to know, like, there's no limit but you, and I won't always be here. So I need the world to see the students I was able to teach flourish as much as the teacher that y'all believe in. Don't ever quit. Even the ones I used to yell at too much, because I believe in you too. I definitely do. I believe in y'all the most. That's why I yelled at y'all, because I was attached to an idea I had of who you had to be in that moment rather than who you were. And my desire for who I wanted them to be and my expectation of how they had to be to become it
in that moment
got in the way of just honoring the person in front of me. So any student who may feel like I was irritating, I had to be your villain so that I can someday be a hero.
Be a part of the villain story.
Right. Because it's definitely some teachers that were my villain. Like, oh my goodness, he said I got to be here by this time. I'm leaving from the lunchroom. Shout out, Mr. Gibson. I'm leaving from the lunchroom.
Yeah, that's what helped me, because like all throughout, like I felt like I had like nice teachers that like was always. I was always like a good kid, so I always got like the pats on the back. But once I got that mean teacher, where I realized it was like, even though I'm a good kid and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, she's treating me like how everybody is getting treated in this class. So now I'm learning in a different way, and it didn't throw me off, but it took away that thing where I always felt like I had to be the golden child in the room. Right? It brought me back to earth. Like I needed that.
Very needed.
Yeah.
The Job story. The Job. These different moments in life. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to be regular.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed to be regular, because if I had to be anything more than that, this would be more difficult. But yeah, man. Any last words? What would be your greatest advice, or what do you feel is like some really dope advice you received?
Some dope advice I received was I'm gonna say I remember Kondwani telling me about when it came to like building up your platform, building up, you know, what you're working on. He was like, yo, 1% a day equals 365 at the end of the year. So if you go into the mindset every day that I only need to bring in one new person, what is going to add up to? So then once we get back to what we said, like extras. So if I'm going to the mindset with one person every day, and then if I come back with 5 or 10, now I'm already ahead of the game. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like that was a very important piece to, just breaking it down to a simpler way of thinking about building something, just one at a time.
I'm gonna leave it right there. One day made better is many days made greater. I'm uplifting you to be in a world that cares. If I keep it to myself, I think that that's unfair. The joy I've been given is best when shared. These visionaries never die. Legends survive through the seeds we sow. Daily we get better with time. Love yourself. Love somebody else. Bipping to it. Be love. Love Baltimore.
Keep bipping.
Like that. That's God.
Love, man.
Oh, that's fire. That advice is fire right there. Yeah. We were searching for the right way, did a lot of wrong. Can't go back, gotta move on. Gotta move forward, corrections given and accept that living still brings pain. Even when you're moving with the best intentions and you blessed with visions of joy, bliss, peace. Gratitude for every day I live to speak and I live to breathe in growth and abundance.